Are you all excited? The award goes to
All right, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to each and every one of you. I am your host for today, VJ Annie from Kolkata, and it is an absolute honor and pleasure to have you all joining us here today. So we have a lot of people who are present here today. We have a lot of dignitaries and honorable people who are here today and who have given us their precious time. So it means a lot for all of us to have you joining us here at the Estate Awards. This is the 13th edition. And to tell you a little about the Estate Awards, this has been presented by Franchise India, and this is the country's most revered awards show that would recap the success stories from the corridors of Indian real estate. It is a unique platform where the magnificent brands and projects take center stage and honor the game changers, the innovators, and the who's who of the Indian realty sector to put much deserved spotlight on them. As the real estate fraternity is joining hands to explore varied avenues of growth, rediscover many facets of ever evolving real estate market dynamics, and presenting ideas to face challenges together. The 13th edition of Estate Awards will be aimed at bringing these wise bulls together to ensure a positive impact on the business. So, with this, let us please begin this wonderful new journey that we have embarked upon. Let me first introduce our partners of this particular event. We have our co-title partner Remax, our TV partner NewsX, our media partner the Sunday Guardian. We have our session partner Simply Work. This event, like I told you, has been presented by Franchise India Ideas for Tomorrow. We have our supporting association, National Association of Realtor India. We have our media partner, Entrepreneur. We have our online media partners, Realty Quarter and the PropertyTimes.in. And last but not the least, we have supporting association from Association of Certified Realtor of India. Ladies and gentlemen, with this, it gives me great pleasure to start off this wonderful event. I would like to welcome our Honorable Chairman and founder of Franchise India Group and Managing Director Remax, Mr. Gaurav Maria. Giving it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Annie, and welcome, friends, and welcome to 13th Estate Awards and Summit. This is the 13th year of this event, virtually happening this time, but it had many physical events, which we are very, very proud of, which brought the entire industry together. When we started the event, the purpose was very clearly the 7 agendas which we wanted to achieve in every single time we brought the edition up. And one was the knowledge. The knowledge was key. In Franchise India, all forums which you do, Franchise India does now about 200 different forums across India in different subjects, and real estate was very, very important for us. Knowledge is the key. Knowledge is all about picking up consumer data, understanding what consumer is telling you, and it can really reflect on the industry, how industry has to evolve. And the change cycles, the Indian industry, particularly real estate, is much faster than it used to be. So it's very important that we continue to bring in that knowledge up there. And a lot of comparative data, which are very, very important. Second thing was very important for us was to bring best practices. And best practices, again, it's much needed in our industry, especially in real estate, from a user experience, from technology, consumer tech. Everything is very, very important. Even construction tech, how do you deliver great projects faster? And that's very important. And look at what is happening now in terms of the inflation. You know, the projects which were started about 2-3 years back are not able to make financial sense or financial closures because the inflation has hit them badly. The third was networking. Obviously, it is much powerful when you do physically, which we want to return back to our physical events next year. But networking is the heart of our agenda, both for our summit and for our awards. Investment, another area which is a big focus for us in across our forums at Franchise India. And we feel that we want to really more and more contribute in that, both in terms of institutional, FDI, any kind of investment the industry needs. And this industry needs a loads and loads of investment. It needs to have all our institutions to participate, our banking to participate, our FDI firms to participate, private equity to participate. So all these are required, and to bring them all together is our motto. Another thing which is very important is policy making, which has always been big. So working closely with the associations to forming right policy and presenting it to stakeholders, both at the state level, at the national urban development level. Another area which is my favorite is organizing the distribution, because Remax, which is my other company, really focuses on how do we bring and organize a distribution, which means that unless and until you start bringing the last mile agent into a more organized part of the business, it never works. So how do we do that? How do we really create better structures, training, education, certification? Certification is not there for specifically for agents. Remax strongly believes in how we can do and certify people who can then work in real estate. Another area is very important to overall deliver what I call the CPU. So CPU is that how do you bring credibility to person who's taking on your product to the market, which is our agent. Second is performance. How do we enhance this performance by better technology? And last is user experience. Deliver a wow user experience. When you buy other products, like you buy a car or a BMW or a Mercedes, you get a great user experience. When you're buying homes, why are you not getting that user experience? That's a very big agenda for Remax for us. And finally, the seventh point was recognition, how we recognize people who have performed well. And you're going to see, and I appreciate the effort of the industry, which has stood by each other in these difficult times. And so we're going to be recognizing a lot of them. So this is an agenda. This is a power-packed event today. We have a lot of great speakers, which you're going to be seeing. So I don't want to hold too much of time. I'll pass it back to Annie. Annie, over to you for introducing our first speaker.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, sir. We got to know so much already. So let us begin. We have our opening keynote, which is called Recover and Relive. In the past 2 years, project's completion was a challenge, of course, due to the shortage of manpower and low demand. As the economy is getting to its feet and macro numbers are improving, it is time real estate stakeholders work with a vengeance and thrive. We have our keynote speaker for today, Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, the Honorable Co-founder and Managing Director of Hiranandani Group of Companies. Can we please welcome him here?
Very good afternoon. Happy to be with you, Annie.
Such a pleasure to have you here, sir. So let us begin with the first set of awards. Before that, we have the panel discussion. Let us begin with the panel discussion. So Simply Work Offices is our session partner. We would like to welcome them here today. For the panel discussion, today we are discussing about the integrating tech and real estate. So disruption is inevitable, and he said, prepared minds are ready for opportunities. How the realty space is embracing technology and PropTech is taking the center stage. Can we please have our speaker cum moderator, Mr. Arvind Nandan, our Managing Director, Research and Consulting, Savilis India.
Hi, Annie, and good afternoon, Niranjan sir. Good afternoon, Gaurav, to everyone.
Good afternoon. All right. So joining us for this session will be Mr. Vivek Agarwal, co-founder Square Yards, Kunal Walia, founder and CEO Simply Work Offices. We have our partner Snehil Gautam, CMO Housing.com. We have PropTiger.com and Makan.com. We have Akhil Saraf, founder and CEO Loyally. We have Dr. Ananta, Senior Executive Director, Experian Developers. And we have Mr. Ravi Agarwal, co-founder, MD, Signature Global Group.
Annie, before we go to the panel one, Mr. Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani will give his keynotes.
So you're not audible?
First, we'll have Mr. Hiranandani delivering his keynote speech, and then we move to panel one.
All right, sir. All right, sir. So over to you, Mr. Hiranandani.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with Arvind Nandan and all the other good panelists over here. My pleasure to be here with you today. Dr. Ananta and others who are over here, very good afternoon to each and every one of you. The issue on the real estate field is a mixed story. Mixed story because in spite of the terrible COVID that we have had, the overall results of our industry have shown a very positive trend. So we have had very good sales as a macro picture. Of course, we've had good times and bad times while the COVID was rampant across the country and the lockdowns were there. All this is a story that we have gone through. However, fortunately for us, real estate as a whole has been able to ride the wave. Why do I say ride the wave? Because it goes up and down, but those who have survived, and those who have not been able to survive are still in difficulty. So we have two situations on the ground. Situation one, where the people have been able to manage the situation, ride the wave, handle the downturn, take care of the ground realities, accommodate the markets, be reasonable, encash on the issue of low interest rates, being able to produce products well completed in time, and then deliver the goods to the marketplace. All this has meant that we've been able to come back into the market with all positive nature and a good story to tell. The second part, which has become obvious, is the fact that there is consolidation in the real estate market, but that's happening across the industries. All the other industries are also seeing consolidation, so we see in real estate too. But with one major big difference that we are able to see. And that major big difference being consolidation is not only at the top end. There are small, efficient, good companies which are small, but they're also efficiently managed. So they are able to eat up the other companies not consolidated, not doing well, is also a second story that we are definitely being able to read. The third aspect of it is I've never seen such low interest rates in my whole career. Never. When it was 7.2, I said, God, it's the lowest interest rate. Then it went below 7. I said, wow, it has crossed the barrier of 7. Come below that. Then it was 6.5. Now that is the situation which I never imagined would remain and be able to sustain. And still, all the banks are competing to give good terms to the clients in terms of loan. And I think that's the biggest secret of all. It has drawn many people to take loans, provide for long-term loans which are there. 15-year, 20-year loans are now coming up with, and younger people are actually buying the market. The other aspect of it, which is very clear, is that the work from home has created a new story. Earlier, only the women wanted a good home. Today, the men want a good home because suddenly they are staying in the house and looking at all the features of the house and said, oh, I can afford a better house, a bigger house, more room space. My children are studying from home. The college students want a bigger place to work and stay. All this put together is definitely making a world of a difference. So all in all, if you see, the demand for real estate has definitely gone up. 4 years ago, 3 years ago, HDFC came out with the situation, and I think, was it Knight Frank or someone, which brought about a story saying that the stocks which are there in the market is equal to 5 years of sale, 5 to 5.5 years of sale. 12 months ago, the figures have already come out again in the marketplace, or 6 months, 7 months ago, and they said now only 1 year's stock is remaining. So there are 3 parts to it. One, new starts have not happened as much as they used to be. Second, the fact that a lot of stocks have been sold and absorbed in the marketplace and sales have taken place rampantly. And the third part of it is, because of RERA and other issues, the projects which have moved on have actually got delivered. So a combination of all these events has definitely made a market change in the real estate story. We are, of course, constrained to understand that there are sectors not doing well. So many apartments in the story of NCR, where more than 3 lakh apartments have been stuck in terms of it. Some of them have been supported by Swami funds, but they are only a tip of the iceberg that are actually saved. That lots and lots of these apartments are still in difficulty. So while we have a very, very positive trend, and I see 22 as a further positive trend, there are constraints which we will go through. The new type of virus, Omicron, is a danger that we see in the near future. We are also constrained because inflation is taking place. Our price of raw materials are shooting up. Steel, cement, paints, copper, wire, you name it, inputs, including labor, has shot up the roof. All in all, if you look at the marketplace, my view is personally, in 2022, the prices of real estate will go up. They haven't gone up yet. Builders have been wary to increase prices too much. And many of them have absorbed the stamp duty issues themselves in terms of doing the sales. They've been more careful. They want to sell more. They don't want to take the risk of holding larger inventory. So all in all, if you see, the market has been very bullish in the recent past, but the builders also themselves have been more disciplined and been able to complete the products in time, and a positive element story that really continues to grow. I could go on and on because there is so much to talk about real estate, but we have a fantastic panel, and I think we would love to hear the broad spectrum inputs that we come from various people who come across wonderful experiences of life and have so much sharing that they need to do, that I would love to hear them all. Thank you so much for calling me here this afternoon to speak, and it's a joy to speak on this panel. Thank you.
It was an absolute joy to have you here with us, sir. Got to know so much from you, and we would like to request you to kindly stay back with us for the first set of awards. So shall we begin that? All right. So let us begin with the first set of awards. The first category that we have is called Residential Property of the Year East, and it goes to 110 PS Group. 110, the happiest address in town. Congratulations. All right, let us proceed on to the next one. And I would like to request our audience who is present here today, if you want, you can share your messages in the chat box, which is down below. We would love to know what you all are thinking and how you are enjoying the event with us. All right, so let us proceed to the next award now. Can we please have the next slide? The next award is the Residential Property of the Year North, and the award goes to M3M Solitude. M3M Solitude, living the soulful way. Congratulations to our next winner. All right, with this, shall we proceed on to the next slide? We've got a comment in the comment box saying, congratulations to PS Group for 110 Bhumi Realtors. I've actually visited the 110 property, which is here in Kolkata, and it is amazing. Really liked it a lot. All right, let us proceed on to the next one. The next award is for the Affordable Housing Project of the Year, National. And this award goes to Signature Golf Green 79. signature group. They say, serenity and peace at the foothills of the Aravalli. I would like to request Mr. Ravi Agarwal, the co-founder and managing director, to kindly join us here and share a few words with us.
And thanks, States Awards, for honoring us for this kind of work. We are working for the common man, and this is the particular project which we have launched after the first lockdown. Even in this project, especially, we have created a work from home facility. A third room is we have created a 3-bedroom apartment and a very reasonable range of just 26 lakhs rupees in a main hub, the Gurgaon. Thanks for honoring for this.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. And you deserve all the good success and all the luck in the world. Congratulations once again.
Thanks.
Proceeding on to the next award, we have Affordable Housing Project of the Year South. And this goes to Provident Park Square, Provident Group. They say our organization's clear vision and mission is to meet the aspirations of the teeming millions by offering quality homes. Congratulations to Provident Park Square. All right, proceeding on to the next award, we have Mid-Segment Project of the Year South. And this award goes to Casa Grande Boulevard from Casa Grande Builders. They say, staying true to our preposition of building superior homes, we at Casa Grande have always been keen at developing projects that caters the need of every home buyer. I would like to request Mr. Nandan Reddy, the Honorable Vice President of Marketing from Casa Grande Builders, to kindly share a few words with us. Mr. Nandan Reddy, would he be joining us here today? All right, proceeding on to the next one. Congratulations once again to Casa Grande Builders. The next award we have is the Senior Citizen Housing Project of the Year South. And this goes to Virtuoso Columbia Pacific Projects. They say, the communities we create delivers the 3 promises of zero headaches, healthier for longer, and that of a community living. Can we please welcome Mr. Satyendra Khurana, Senior VP Projects, to please come and join us. All right, I don't think he is present here, so let us proceed on to the next one. All right, so the next award we have is Themed Project of the Year, Residential North. And the award goes to The Lake from the Omax Group. The Lake is Omax's first apartment and penthouse project in Omax, New Chandigarh, a 1,000+ acres township, just 10 minutes drive from the PGI Chandigarh on Madhya Marg. Congratulations to our winner. Proceeding on to the next one we have, that is the Themed Project of the Year, Residential East. And this award goes to Imami Astha from Imami Realty. Imami Astha, they say your nest in bird paradise. That is a beautiful line. Congratulations. Proceeding on to the next award, we have Luxury Villa Project of the Year East. And the award goes to Meraki, Purti and Resorts Private Limited. They say, experience Meraki. Proceeding on to the next one, congratulations to Meraki. Our next category is Co-working Space Project of the Year, National. And this goes to Intellian Edge, TRIL. Simply Work Offices Private Limited. They say creating world-class infrastructure for global organizations while offering them both financial advantage and convenience. May we please welcome Ms. Vidushi Jain, the VP of Brand and Marketing, Simply Work, to please come and share a few words with us. Ms. Vidushi Jain, do we have you here? All right, let's proceed on to the next one. Our next category is Developer of the Year, Residential East. And the award goes to PS Group. PS Group, it's family time, they say. Congratulations. The next category we have is Award for Outstanding Contribution to the Industry. And the award goes to Dr. Nitesh Kumar, Managing Director, Imami Realty. They say, with a rich industry experience spanning over more than 28 years, with over 14 years in senior level management, Dr. Kumar's fields of expertise spans through real estate development, strategic planning, marketing, mergers and acquisitions, and branding. Wow, that's a very big list to have. Congratulations, Dr. Nitesh Kumar. All right, moving on to the next award. This is the Lifetime Achievement Award, and it goes to Dr. Dayanand Pai, the founder of Century Real Estate, a philanthropist, a patron for modern education, an athlete. His life is a series of diverse chapters, each more beautiful than the other. And with that, we come to an end of the first set of awards. Congratulations to all our winners. It was indeed an honor to have you all present here. With this, let us please proceed on to the next one. Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, would you like to say something to our winners? All right, we'll ask him to share a few words in a while. Before that, let us please proceed with the panel discussion. So our session partner for this panel discussion is Simply Work Offices. We will be talking about integrating tech and real estate. So disruption is inevitable, and it is said that prepared minds are ready for opportunities. How the realty space is embracing technology and PropTech is taking center stage. May we please welcome our speaker cum moderator, Mr. Arvind Nandan, the Honorable Managing Director of Research and Consulting, Savilis India, to please come and join us here. It is such a pleasure to have you here with us, sir. A very good afternoon.
Thank you, Annie. Good afternoon. And somebody has got to release my video. It's been stopped at the host's end.
Requesting the host to please start his video. Joining us in the session will be Mr. Vivek Agarwal, our co-founder, Square Yards, Mr. Kunal Walia, founder and CEO, Simply Work Offices. And we have our partners, Snehil Gautam, CMO, Housing.com, PropTiger.com, and Makan.com. We also have Mr. Akhil Saraf, founder and CEO, Loyally. We have Dr. Ananta, Senior Executive Director, Experian Developers, and Mr. Ravi Agarwal, co-founder and MD of Signature Global Group. I would love to welcome all of you here. Namaskar. Thank you so much for joining us today. I will be giving it over to Mr. Arvind Nandan now.
Thank you, Annie. It's a great pleasure to be here. Truly honored. First of all, congratulations from my side, and I'm sure on the behalf of this panel, to all the winners. We have two of them here, by the way, Ravi and Kunal. So congratulations to them. And it was wonderful listening to Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani and Gaurav. Like I said before, Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani always, those words of wisdom are wonderful to have. I'll come straight away to this panel. It's a nice galaxy of entrepreneurs, power packed, and the topic is, I think, one of the most wonderful ones. Before we get there, I have always been intrigued and impressed by, those words that one of the techpreneurs of our time, Jeff Bezos, had reportedly said once. And that was about no matter how successful you are today or your product is today, you got to always have a next in your pipeline. And this whole marriage of tech, prop tech, and real estate has sort of apparently moved in that direction. When I have tried to understand, how long it has been going on, apparently it looks like it's been last 15 or 20 years of journey. But if you look deeper, it's probably you can clearly break it in two parts. The pre-internet phase of prop tech and the internet and post-internet phase. The pre-internet era was when we were all sort of very impressed with having an AutoCAD or a measuring tape less measurement ability for real estate. Those were the days. But after internet, things became very different. We could have marketplace platforms, and we could have so many other things, sales platforms. And now apparently it has taken one more leap. Now we are into data analytics, IoT, and so many other things. So all of that and probably more is what prop tech means. I'm not an expert. This panel of 6 people is apparently far more equipped to talk about it. We will talk about all that. Then I also think we should probably look at exploring what the current situation, the pandemic, has done to prop tech. Has it enhanced its proposition, or has it caused some kind of a dent to that? I'll go to the panelists with that, and eventually we will look at what the future holds for this whole proposition. So with that, I would like to start straight off. It's very difficult to choose one panelist. So let me go to the lady first, Dr. Ananta, if I can have your views initially on how you think the overall prop tech has evolved over the years. You've spent 20, 25 years with one of the biggest developers, and now you are with yet another very powerful player. How have you seen this world changing and transforming real estate? If you could give certain your views, and then we will go to the rest of the panel.
Thank you so much, Arvind, for that question. Yes, indeed, the reality world has changed drastically in the last 3 decades, but more so in the last 2 years, I would say, because I think we'll restrict it to that. Otherwise, I can speak all day on this very topic itself. So, of course, there has been an exponential change that goes without saying. The digital growth has also got accelerated, but essentially it still boils down to the same story. Ultimately, success and failure is about a leadership signature. I strongly believe that because, whether it is digital, local, social, the whole ecosystem of digital marketers, your decision making is what will decide the fate of your organization and your products. And so data mining becomes very critical at this point of time. Now, essentially, the elements involved are the same. Okay, today we can call those 4 P's as I call them. One is the prospect, the other is his perception, the third is that the platforms that my fellow panelists are providing us, and the fourth is how proactively, innovatively we embrace technology. So that is how that's what the dynamics and that's what the play is. So last year, what we witnessed, Arvind, was, from segmentation to customization through digitization has already happened. Now, what are we expecting now and why? So today, it is critical that we marry technology with psychology. And why do we need to do that? Because one, of course, there's a COVID hangover for our original market, as we call it. Then there is a Gen Z power, which is stepping in, which is also looking at real estate in various ways, investment, end use, and other things. So hyper-personalization is what is required today. you can't just hold it back to digital acceleration or e-commerce or connected and streaming TV explosion, which is something which we've already witnessed all of last year. We've been 21 months into this game, right? So, and all that AI-driven automation, we've seen all that. So today, what is going to propel us to the new heights is actually the agility with which we embrace technology. So understanding our consumer is very important, and therefore, that's pivotal. That's data-driven predictive techniques. I think we just need to go in for that before we decide. And of course, we have so many experts to handhold us. So I would leave the rest of the answers to them to answer you, Arvind.
Thank you, Ananta, and it was a good start. You've sort of already opened a few avenues, and I'm wondering which one to take up straight away. But let's straight away start with the phenomenon of e-commerce that you mentioned, and that has in a way created some kind of a platform or a series of platforms for our sector. In no particular order, but I think we still have to reach out to somebody who's doing that on a day-to-day basis. I will ask for Vivek and Snehil's opinions simultaneously, maybe in that order, about how they thought was this emergence of the aggregator platform started off, and where do they think has it landed? After we did this, I want to go into a little more practical implementation related aspect, and then we will go to Ravi and Kunal both, because they represent the hard. Tell us how has this whole thing emerged, and where is it looking like today?
Thanks, Arvind. So I'll go first, and then probably Snehal can take over. So if we see this, how the prop tech is emerging in real estate and how the overall tech scenario is happening. So if I see and look back, I can divide it into three phases. So there was a first wave of prop tech when search and discovery platforms came into existence. They replaced the newspaper-based classifieds. The listings became online. People started searching for property online. And as we see now, almost like I would say, Sneha will talk more about this, but I'll say probably 70 to 80% of the real estate searches have moved online. People first go to internet to search what's available, what's interesting, which areas to invest, and then they enter into a physical world. So that was the first phase where all these classified and listings platforms, they came. The second wave was more about the transaction platforms, something like Square Yards and Prop Tiger and others. So these platforms, they started looking at easing out the transactions. So there is a hand-holding part after the online search is complete. People want to visit the houses, they want to do negotiations for the inventory, they want to select the best inventory, they want to do documentation, they want to take a home loan, right? So the second wave was focused on this. And as we speak, the whole PropTech space is moving closer to transactions. So after search and discovery, things like online agreements, getting virtual reality and 3D spaces to showcase properties, doing online payments and transfers, doing documentations like agreements, and even in some states, the registration has also moved online. So now it's a peak phase for this second wave. And the third wave, which we foresee coming, is like the overall fractionalization of real estate and fintech and proptech playing this together, right? So if you see real estate, it's still a very expensive asset class. It's illiquid, right? It's mired in a very legal playground, right? It's not easy to navigate. So there are new waves of startups emerging, which are going to simplify this. right? Whether it call it fractionalization of real estate, use of blockchain. Uh, there are players who are actually unmortgaging the mortgage process, digital mortgage, right? So rent to own, all of these startups are emerging. So I'll stop at this, but if I see how this is playing out is like the first phase was about search and discovery, the second phase was about transactions, and third phase is a combination of fintech and prop tech coming together to disrupt the transaction piece.
Thanks, Vivek. Thanks, Arvind, for the question. Arvind, I think you are on mute.
Thank you, Snehal, for pointing that out. Snehal, before you took over, I'm very glad Vivek has already clearly, put it in three parts, something which helps our discussion. Snehal, Snehal, if you could elaborate on this a little bit, then we go to the two others.
Yeah. So referring to your original question, Arvind, where are we in terms of and where we have landed as aggregator platforms, right? I firmly believe that it's still work in progress. And as Dr. Ananta, pointed it out, that we are still to map things as per the behavior, as the consumer behavior. And I can tell you a few of the trends that have changed significantly, in last 18 to 12, 24 months during this COVID period. And 70 to 80% of the consumers in tier one, they always used to come to online platforms to start their home buying journey. And there was a cohort of users for whom it was very difficult to come online, especially the owner side of owners who were little 35 to 40 plus age in tier one cities. Bringing them online was a big challenge for us. Similarly, tier two, tier three cities, it was a big challenge to bring those users online. What has COVID changed for us? And sometimes I say this pandemic has accelerated few things that we couldn't do it in last 10 years, 15 years. It has completely accelerated the digitization, the tech adoption piece. And we are seeing at least 100% growth from tier 2, tier 3 cities in terms of traffic coming on our platforms and looking for home online. And this is a big phenomenon. And coming back to what Dr. Ananta was saying, that we have to map that behavior and try to adopt as per that. These users have a very different requirement. They want your pages in vernacular languages. They prefer videos. They prefer voice searches, etc. And that is where the prop tech will move. At least the aggregator platforms will move in next 2 to 3 years, and we are one of them working on that. Other thing that has changed, that we all are aware of, that once these users are online, things are changing. The way users are discovering the properties, 3D walkthroughs, video connect with sellers, virtual tours, all this is possible. And again, as Vivek mentioned, there are platforms who are taking the users and holding hand of the users till the transaction happens. And the next piece is, Arvind, if you have to, you want services for home painting, you want services for movers and packers, you can get it at a click of a button from urban company, from players like that. So I feel if you are a consumer of real estate right now, it's the best time to be a consumer of real estate, because technology has evolved to a certain extent. And again, it's still work in progress. We will see lots of innovations coming from both from the consumers and the sellers side in next 2 to 3 years.
Well put. In fact, you've given me, some more pointers for a few more questions, but I think I'll follow the logical pattern. I want to go to Ravi and Kunal now. It's a toss-up. Let me start with Ravi. Kunal, please don't mind.
Listen from Kunal.
Yeah. In fact, you've pioneered a certain class of real estate, at Signature. Both Pradeep ji and you. I have been fortunate enough to, regularly be in touch. This is a very special class of real estate, particularly from our market's perspective. 5-6 years ago, India as a market was only witnessing large products in residential development, 3 BHKs and 2 BHKs. Nobody wanted to do, something which is technically called affordable now. But I think you changed the game quite a bit by taking a different approach. And then, we've all been hit by something which was unanticipated, the pandemic. Sales down, advertisements down, communication down. How have you been able to sort of, tackle this problem? Has technology played a role? Has it played a role which you will want to take forward, even after the pandemic situation? A perspective on that will be important, I believe, for everybody who's listening in. Ravi.
Thanks, Arvind. Technology, without technology, we can't think about the real estate right now. And I want to categorize from since inception, from product designing till the time of possession. First, in the terms of product designing, when we are taking the decision, what kind of product we want to serve to the customer, this is the data mining we do on the basis of the leads we have generated from the digital medium. And second, the survey we conduct online, on that basis, we take the decision. And also the competitive analysis, what we do online, we take the decision, what kind of product we need to design. Second, on the pre-sales part, I think so, everyone who is carrying a mobile, he is a prospect to customer for us. We can create a kind of atmosphere for them that the project is coming. The kind of awareness, the fast in the manner we can do through digital medium, nobody can pace up in front of that. Digital is the medium. You can easily communicate to the customers through their your videos or something like that. Especially the videos are now performing very, very well. And on the sales front, from inception of the company, when we have launched this company, started the company as first project in 2014, on that first project itself, we have invited application online itself. The customers were paying the application money by the payment gateway, by their debit cards or the online medium, and they were applying online from the nationwide, even from out of India sometimes. For their parents who are living in India, the persons who were applying for the parents out of India. Means we were getting the application from all over India, and that project itself, first project, that got subscribed online. And after that, many projects we do. I'm talking about 7 years before. And even in one project, it got subscribed one time online only. Means 1,000 were the flats and 1,000 were the applicants who applied online, made the payment to the digital medium, and we have allotted by the online draw. And recently, at the time of first lockdown, when the pandemic came, everybody was thinking how the sales will happen when the lockdown is there. It was, I think so, 21st or 22nd of March. We said to the team, it's not lockdown, it's an opportunity to work. And in this program itself, we have got awarded for the best project, sector 79, that is the best affordable category award we got. It got subscribed online itself. And after that, lot of projects we have launched. All those projects we are working well on online front. Sales is happening. The site visits are happening online. Customer getting interested, all things. And even the home loans part, we have tie-up with the HFCs and the banks who are 100% online model. Home loans are getting sanctioned online. On the customer services part, we have made a system in our company that the customer should not come physically. The minimal, they should come to the company. As the customers are applying online, getting allotment online, they need to come just for a buyer builder agreement registration, which is happening in Haryana. And I think so in Bangalore or Maharashtra, it can be done online. We have requested to the government, this is the time when Corona is happening, why you are lining up the customers, we can do it online. And we have given the proposal to the government also for that. Let's go for the trend on the basis of the Bangalore or the Maharashtra is doing, we can do in Haryana also. And second time, they need to come just for the position. In between that, we can show our project construction online. We can send them the update online. No, everything can be done online. On the construction part, digitization is the key for project designing each and everything, and even from the live survey for the project happening, what kind of construction is happening, how much level it has attained, we are doing it online itself. And even from procurement, we are doing online, making the payment online, but material will come physically only. And in the second lockdown, I think so, everybody thought that online is not a normal, it's just a normal now, it's quite normal now. Because without online or the digital medium, I think so we can't think about the real estate in these kind of cities we are working, the metro cities. Digitization is a key to real estate, since product designing, lead generations, sales, allotment, everything, and the position itself.
Absolutely.
Without digitization, nothing can happen.
Absolutely. Well said. I think, and you've demonstrated it, the way digitization has worked for you. In fact, I'm very anxious to go over to Kunal now, because the proposition sounds to be diametrically opposite, Kunal, in your case. And, it's going to be one of the most interesting things to listen to your opinion. Because, Ravi was talking about not bringing people at all, and I believe your business is all about bringing people inside of real estate. And the asset class that you work on is one of the three that has been the darling of the market over the years, last few years. But at the same time, I believe it took a frontal hit when the pandemic happened, more than any other. Now, and therein perhaps was an opportunity for the whole asset class. You represent something which is, flexi space, co-work space, etc. How do you think this pandemic has enhanced the use of technology? And going forward, what do you think will be done through technology in order to make it survive? Not just survive, but make it grow. We all know, we have different numbers, but we know that it was about 20% of the market, co-work space, back in 2019, but it sharply declined to below 10% in 2020. But it looks like it's going up again. So how does technology power it and will power it going into the future? Is my point to you, Kunal, if you could give us a detailed picture. And then I want to go to Akhil, because Akhil has a very unique proposition about the challenges that are faced in user experience. So Kunal, over to you.
Arvind sir, can I please interrupt once?
Sure, Annie.
So there is a question in the Q&A box for Mr. Snehal, if we could address that.
Could we do that, after we've taken opinions from all the panelists, because, there is still a lot to be addressed.
And also for those of you who want to ask questions, you can put it forward in the Q&A.
I would think we should first listen in, and then we'll take the queries, of course.
Sure.
Kunal, to you, please.
Thanks, Arvind. Good evening. And I think you have the right background, right? I think the point you made about our business requirements are diametrically opposite of whatever was being talked about. The consumerization of technology, while on the real estate aspect or the overall space, I think COVID was a wake-up call. It was kind of like you either are online or you don't have a business anymore. And I think that's, perfectly captures how residential real estate has been. I think commercial real estate to a large extent has been different. There have been smart offices for a decade plus, and we are still thinking about how smart home looks, right? So B2B, which is where we are, the managed spaces, the flexible office spaces, which cater to Fortune 500 enterprises that simply work, we've almost always looked at technology as table stakes, in the sense that if you're not technology aware, if you're not technology forward, then you don't have a business. It's not going to be there down the line. COVID brought its challenges, not just in sales and marketing, which is the discovery aspect of our space. Our space, as you're aware at Savills very well, is all about offline, right? It is at the end of the day the discovery of the process. Yes, you can to a certain extent showcase how an office looks. You can use technology in terms of design, but at the base of it, what got more prominent is how are we integrating technology from a health and safety perspective? How does EHS compliance look in the new world? People are coming into offices, they want reassurances in terms of that they are safe. There is sanitization processes being followed right from the entrance to the compound to, let's say, when you work with players like DLF, KRC, Salapuria, you do have that aspect that you're working with the best of breed. And we are so glad that we're part of this industry, because these were all guys who took the first initiatives and the most aggressive ones in making sure all their air filters systems are upgraded, information integrations are available. Anybody walking in is able to kind of audit when was the last time somebody used an elevator, when was the last time sanitization of a common area happened, the seat allocation is done beforehand, social distancing is maintained. So these are table stakes going forward for sure. But in a lot of cases, we are also diametrically different in the sense, like you said, our job is to bring people back to spaces. And I'll kind of come back to the market share question that you asked. I think that's an argument I've been having with research teams across all IPCs over the last quarter. That guys, you are recording data that's about a quarter old, right? I think there was an interview by Mr. Karun Verma just today from DLF, where he talks about the last 6 to 8 weeks, the momentum's been great. And let me tell you, right, he's definitely underquoting, and that's his personality. Because I think with the last quarter and a half, the momentum in commercial leasing it's like 2018, 2019, right? The rush back to office spaces, the rush towards quality, and that kind of benefits players like who only focus on large accounts or large clients servicing their requirements, which means we are only with grade A developers across the country. That definitely helps. That provides a large impetus to our sales offering. So while the data might look like 10%, I think by the time the year closes and some of those registration documents start coming in, I think that number is only going to be higher. I know for a fact, peers of mine, what kind of space absorption they have. I obviously know what kind of space absorption we have. And I know, there is always going to be some data mismatches here and there. But yes, the whole COVID aspect has given a fillip to the space, which is the flexible workspaces, largely because people are now finally convinced that the capex-led model of doing office development may not be relevant. You've outsourced transportation desks, you outsource facility management, you outsource to a certain extent office design. I have no idea why, as yet, people were struggling with the concept of outsourcing the office itself, right? That's really where we come in. That's the proposition that we give. We are able to kind of give you a same quality. We are able to give you same service standards. We are also able to give you what we consider to be extremely crucial for large enterprises to be comfortable, which is auditable safety standards, auditable records, auditable safekeeping, auditable record across the board, right? That ability is really where the propositions become more prominent. There is no account of ours which is restricted to a single city. So when you work with a large enterprise, it may start with Bangalore, it'll move to Chennai, it'll move to Hyderabad, it'll move to Pune, Bombay, it'll go to Delhi, it'll be in Calcutta, right? So that aspect is really where things are. Technology, like I said, for us is not necessarily a talking point, because without technology, we don't have a business. So it's not something we discovered. I think that's been the case. We are also moving in this country from, if you really look at it, next year, it's going to be 30 years of economic reforms that India hits. And you had a period, even after the reforms for the next 20, 25 years, which is, the scarcity mindset. I know still we talk about in residential real estate about allocations. And I don't really get that, because as a consumer, I want to buy something. I don't know why I have to be a part of a lottery and an allotment process, right? And that's really where even residential real estate has moved today. You're spoiled for choice. So when you're spoiled for choice, consumer is king, whether it's business or whether it's an individual or whether it's a family that you're catering to. Technology is really the only way to reach out. You have to compete. You have to stand apart from the rest. And I think so in a lot of sense, what you said, we have a diametrically opposite view on technology. For us, it's not new. It's not something that we do a specific R&D project on. This is like we build projects, we lease spaces. That's the same way we think about technology. It is a constant function. It's very much there. It's part of the DNA.
Excellent views, Kunal. I want to take the liberty of extending it a little bit before I went to Akhil. Your business is slightly unique. It is about creating real estate, first of all. I mean, you take a box, but you create estate inside it, and then create an experience for the user as well. You don't sell it away, and you don't go away. So in this case, creation process itself requires a huge input from technology, and I'm sure it has changed, in this pandemic times, perhaps for the better. Could you throw a little bit of light on that? Maybe not very elaborate, but a little bit of light on how creation process itself has gotten transformed.
No, absolutely. I think, like every other sector, ours came with a bit of a challenge, and it was an existential challenge. And that was used as an opportunity to over-innovate. And I think all of us were guilty of the fact that we were looking far ahead. And that tends to happen when you're at the top or you're at the bottom of an economic cycle. You tend to overestimate how low you're going and how high you're going. Technology became a frantic approach to kind of try and manage expectations. So all of us, not just us, our peers, I'm sure people like you came up with how do we kind of showcase offices, right? In the absence of, because this is really where decision-making for commercial real estate in India lies. And that's the funny aspect. Decision-making of commercial real estate in India does not happen in India. There's always somebody, we are waiting to arrive from Hong Kong or Singapore or London or the US to take the final call, right? That's like the final visit that has a check mark. And everybody's scrambling and saying, hey, how do we kind of make that virtual? Well, thanks to significant innovation in residential real estate, even before us, the ability to showcase these properties offline, the ability to showcase them digitally was very much there. So, adopting that or creating that was not so much of a challenge. I think where the challenge came in is our anticipation of how design is going to be looked at, right? Because on one side, we were struggling with convincing that a long-term product means a certain amount of health and safety standards. So we were lucky because we've always partnered with the large organizations, which are extremely, extremely, crucial. They look at technology, they look at design, they look at human factor aspects with a very large magnifying lens. We were always able to kind of adopt and borrow, and I think that really helped us. So when somebody came to us and said, "Look, I want to outsource the office. I want to be in a flexible space. I like the way you guys do business, but look, I want 120 square feet per person. That's really the density we want to be at. And what's your portfolio today look like?" And we said, "Look, here's my portfolio. This is 3 million square feet. That's last year. We are already at about 125 square feet per person. But we're also now looking at collaboration being very different. So the use of the office has changed, right? Whereas earlier, if you had 500 employees, you got 500 coming in. Today, they're very clear that, look, we want the same space, but we will never have 500 guys in the office at any point of time. So what we need is more collaboration, more touchdown points. People will come in for video conferencing because all said and done, that's still a challenge for a lot of people. There's a lot of business related information that employers are not okay being transacted from home. There's a lot of in-person collaboration requirements. So how we design these things have changed, right? That's really where technology played the most crucial aspect. It was not making the coffee machine automated. And, sure, we've done that. But, I think we tend to kind of glorify those simplistic aspects, which is IoT and, a lot of that. But we tend to forget that technology needs to meet a real requirement, which is related to productivity, which is related to safety. And every technology innovation that I think we've kind of looked at is from that perspective. And that's really helped. So today, how an office looks is dramatically different from how it used to look 3 years back for the same clients, right? They've all kind of come back and redesigned these spaces or are in the process of redesigning these spaces. So, a fun place to be. But like somebody said, I think COVID provided nothing but a catalyst for a lot of this innovation to get accelerated towards more and more adoption.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well put. Thank you so much, Kunal. Akhil, I'm coming to you now, and thank you for your patience. The reason I'm coming to you at the end is because we've discussed all the positive aspects, all the glorified aspects of technology and prop tech, but obviously there are challenges in its adoption. there are hurdles, there are obstacles, and there are, those fundamental areas of attention. I know you work in that area, you have a significant experience. Could you just give us an overarching picture of what these are and how, the world should look at them and look at handling them? Over to you, Akhil.
So just a little bit about us to give some context as to what I'm going to
Yeah,
say.
of course, through your experience of your firm, etc.
Yeah. So we work with builders to manage their customers, right? So what we realized is that there is a gap in how builders manage their customers after the sale is complete, right? Now, I'm going to draw from various panelists to explain my point of view better, because somewhere we have covered most of this entire thing. So Vivek very rightly put it that there are three phases of technology adoption in any sector, right? We've seen this with Swiggy, we've seen this with Ola, we've seen this with Policy Bazaar. That the first phase is search and discover, right? So Zomato led the search and discover part, Policy Bazaar led the search and discover part, and then went into the transactions, and then finally into new products, right? So what he spoke of fintech and thing. Now, over here, what a lot of builders don't realize, right, is the fact that technology till date that was presented to them was always built for a e-commerce mindset, right? It was about buy now, buy now, buy now, that it's like a yoga mat on Amazon, right? No one actually built technology for the fundamentals of this transaction, right? The fundamentals of this transaction is it's a high value transaction with very low volumes, and the customer is doing it once in his entire life, right? So he's making the largest transaction of his life once, so he's naturally really scared, right? So as Dr. Nanda had also earlier spoke of this, right, that you have to design technology for the psychology of the customer, right? Technology in real estate that is getting built today, the technology that we are building today, is being built to help address the insecurities that customers face, right? That in this entire customer journey of a homeowner, right? So the first part is obviously search and discover. The second part is the transaction part. Over here, the builder is the biggest custodian, right? So the builder has a monopoly on that relationship for 3 to 5 years because the broker has moved out and my gate hasn't stepped in, right? So like the two ends of the spectrum. So when the builder is managing this relation, the builder needs to take care of the customer in the right manner, right? Once this part of the customer journey is digitized, right, that this gray area of 3 to 5 years that no one has been digitizing, that is going to unlock the world of fintech and proptech further, right? Any asset class needs to be divided up into smaller subsegments for it to grow as a whole, right? So if you take food as a service, when you divided it up into restaurants and your virtual kitchens and search and discover and delivery, the entire industry grew, right? So real estate also is such a massive industry that will only grow when we divide this entire thing up and build in our specific niches, right? So the builders need to focus on building properly, communicating with customers properly, and that will help the asset class grow because you can plug in fintech, right? And build fintech on the largest asset class in the world, right? So back to you.
Thank you so much.
I'm very sorry to interrupt again, but unfortunately we have very less time in hand.
Yeah, I know. And I think we've completed taking views from all the panelists, extremely, enlightened views. So it was wonderful. I was thinking of, taking a half a minute conclusion from each of them and then straight away taking the questions that are coming in. Maybe we can start with Dr. Ananta straight away. A very quick roundup of what you think the technology will do in coming future and how it can be used. Don't make it a very elaborate one. Annie is there watching us. A quick couple of bullet points, maybe.
So in short, we just need to, envelope the customer. And since the last person to speak was Akhil, it's almost like a social contagion, referral, loyalty, whether it's army officers, doctors, lawyers, everybody, it's a situation of homophily. Wherever your customer is buying, with them, so many others come in. So I think in the time to come, referral, loyalty, magnets, opinion leaders, all of them matter, and technology has to help us in grabbing them as quickly as we can. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Vivek and Snehal, maybe in that order, your quick couple of bullet points on what do you think the future would be like?
Yeah, I think what we see as penetration of technology in real estate, it's still at a very nascent stage. We are just scratching the surface. Overall, as a sector, I feel that it's moving from a asset ownership to a on-demand model. So we have co-living, co-working are just the tip of the iceberg. But I feel that overall we would see housing or residential housing as a service, and we have new asset class emerging like old age centers, whether it's a co-working or senior living, right? So the role of technology would increase, and I would like to see like how Amazon has brought the convenience and the speed in e-commerce. There will be real estate tech companies bringing the same level of convenience for the home buyers.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Snehal,
Yeah,
your conclusion, please.
Completely agree with Vivek. I think we are just seeing the tip of the iceberg. But at the same time, I feel that every stakeholder in real estate, they need to embrace technology and understand that data transparency, everything is extremely important for the maturity of technology in this sector. And two things, that is two technology advancements that can change real estate sectors. First one is the construction technology for the sellers. I think that will evolve very rapidly in next 5 years. You will see significant innovations happening there. And secondly, just from the consumer's point of view, it's still such a pain, Arvind, to take a home loan. I believe that that piece needs to be resolved. That piece needs a disruption, at least in India.
Access to financing, absolutely. Kunal, you already said it once that from real estate as an asset to real estate as a service is where we are going with office, and you're wondering why it didn't happen so far. Any take on what the future might be like with the play of technology?
I'll save you a lot of time. I'll tell you simply, this is our view. Technology is here to stay. You don't have a real estate technology play. You have a real estate play. Technology is table stakes for any industry, more so for real estate. If technology is not center of your organizational DNA, you don't survive. It is as simple as it gets.
Wonderful. Absolutely succinct and to the point. Akhil, final viewpoint, please.
I actually don't agree with the viewpoint that people are not going to buy homes in the future. I actually believe that millennials want to retire at 60 and die at 100. So 40 years, no one really wants to be renting in the fag end of their lives. I believe that, but to attract this audience who has made a lot of money, technology is going to play a very big part to create that ease of living and that ease of asset ownership, right? That the asset has to do more for that millennial. And that's what we really need to focus on building. And that's where technology really needs to go. What can we do more for the millennial buyer who's looking for that ease, right?
And then there is Gen Z and Gen Alpha, which has already come up. Thank you so much, gentlemen and lady. We're absolutely out of time, and there are two questions. So I think the first one is for Snehal. Let me read it out. It is from Abhijit Deshpande. It says, I want to ask this question to Mr. Snehal. Does overexposure of technology and speedy innovations create decision dilemmas in the minds of the end users, property buyers, as availability of information is in abundance today? Is it a problem of plenty, Snehal?
Yeah, thanks, Abhijit, for the question. First of all, whether there is abundance of information available today in real estate sector, I think no. I believe there's lots of data, there's lots of things that are not available, that are not transparent in real estate sector, and that is something that that is a separate discussion altogether. But having said that, the best example is Amazon. Amazon has millions and millions and options, but if you go to that platform, you will always get to the right product, and that is how the technology and the platform works. So I believe, it is upon the owners of platforms like us to direct the consumer, direct the user to the right requirement. And for that, we will need lots of data, lots of churning. We have enough data for last 5 years, but this kind of sector will need data for at least 20 years to get to understand this sector well. And every stakeholder, as I said, will have to provide that transparency with the data.
Yep. Thank you so much. There is another one, and Kunal, this is for you. There are two questions, in fact, within one. I'll again read it out. It says, number one, what is the future of co-working spaces in tier 2 cities in India? If no, then which key aspects do you feel should be built to establish the ecosystem of co-working spaces? That is the first question, Kunal. The second one also I'll read out. Do you think that tier 2 cities in India are ready for adapting the culture of co-working spaces, maybe adopting the culture of co-working spaces? You could answer them one by one or both of them together.
No, I'll go for the first part of that question, right? Which is, is it time for co-working and tier 2 cities to marry each other, right? I think very much so. Been dating and we've been flirting for a while. Time for us to kind of tie the knot, for sure. And honestly, this doesn't come from our love for tier 2 cities or the culture or the lack of quality spaces there. In fact, those have all been hindrances. Where this comes from is customer, right? You have more and more organizations talking about distributed offices. Now, more and more organizations are actually committing to distributed offices for the longer term. We will follow where the customer is. That's what a business is supposed to do. Be open to where the customer requirement is. There are clear requirements. There are massive requirements from very, very large corporates. And out of top 40 RE occupiers in India, which are not India headquartered, I think 50% of them are already out in the market. Some of them, we're working with law firms across the country, where we're trying to figure out what asset works, what are the nuances. Yes, there are challenges we're still trying to figure out. There are challenges around safety, there are challenges around compliance. You also don't have built to own stock in a lot of this tier 2 cities. You do have a lot of strata sales sector. So kind of making sure that maintenance is being done. There is absentee landlords sector that needs to be taken care of. We're figuring that out, but we're definitely there. I think the next 36 months, you will see at least 5 million square feet of adoption just for tier 2 cities in India, right? That tier 2 cities list can be 20 cities, but you will see 80% in the top 10. And that kind of comes naturally. So the likes of Jaipur, the likes of Ahmedabad, the likes of Kochi, the likes of Indore, I think they are very much there. But then you also look at, even amongst the metros, and you see that the eastern part of the country has been left behind over the last 8-9 years, right? And I'm massively bullish that you will see a massive resurgence of demand here. You do have quality players in these cities. You do have regional headquarters for a lot of systems. You do have a metropolitan culture where talent doesn't mind kind of being near to home. It's not necessarily at home where the workplaces belongs, but near to home definitely is where the tier 2 city kind of takes more fascination. So I think that gives you a comprehensive answer for both parts.
Absolutely, it does. It's an emphatic yes, in short, I guess, tier 2. Well, I think we are now completely out of time. Annie, I think I'll hand it back over to you. But before that, I want to thank each of the panelists. Thank you so much. The time is never enough. We could have done much more, but still, I think we've got some very valuable inputs here. Annie, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. We got to know a lot of informative things today, and I surely learned a lot from this session. So proceeding on to the awards now, we have a lot of awards that we are going to be giving out in this segment. So beginning the second set of awards, ladies and gentlemen. The first one is the Best Affordable Budget Housing Developer of the Year, National, and the award goes to Signature Global India Private Limited, Making India Affordable. Can I please welcome Mr. Lalit Agarwal, co-founder and vice chairman, Signature Global Group, to kindly share words with us.
आज सिग्नेचर ग्लोबल का जो मिशन है, हर परिवार एक घर, सिग्नेचर ग्लोबल इस मुहिम में लगा हुआ है कि हर परिवार के सर पर एक छत हो, और बहुत ही सक्सेसफुल तरीके से इसको टेक केयर कर रहा है. तो थैंक्स अगेन जूरी फॉर दिस अवार्ड. थैंक्स अगेन. थैंक यू.
All right, thank you so much, sir, and congratulations. Proceeding on to the next award now. This is the Most Innovative Architecture Design Residential. The award goes to Interactive Design Studio. They say, I believe interaction is a key to understand user and to create spaces which could in return interact with the user. So congratulations to Interactive Design Studio. Proceeding on to the next award now, this is the most sustainable architecture design residential. And the award goes to Grosvenor House, Bennett and Bernard Custom Homes Private Limited. They say vision of their project is designing sustainable luxury for the present with keen knowledge and awareness of the past for a future which is essentially unknown. That is very deep. May we please request Fabiola Fernandez to kindly share a few words with us.
Thank you, esteemed awards team. This was fantastic organization. Esteemed jury members for bestowing this prestigious award of Most Sustainable Architectural Award for Grosvenor House to Bennett and Bernard Company. I gladly accept this award on behalf of Lincoln, Bennett and Lindsay Bernard and the entire Bennett and Bernard team. The award reflects our commitment to deliver world-class projects that reflect international standards and high-end living. Over the years, we have built several masterpieces and Grosvenor House is one of them, of the more recent offerings. We have always stayed ahead of the curve in introducing new concepts and will continue to bring disruptive innovation in holiday homes. Once again, we would like to thank everyone for the appreciation. Take care, stay safe, and wish you all a happy New Year 2022.
All right, we shall proceed on to the next one. The next award goes for Most Innovative Interior Design Award, Commercial and Retail, and the award goes to Urban Village. They say, our vision is to become a leading architectural and interior design firm by providing innovative design solutions to our clients. Congratulations. Proceeding on to the next award. The category is Residential Property of the Year South, and the award goes to Spectra Raywoods, Spectra Constructions. At Spectra, we aim to offer our customers the highest quality luxury living spaces experience by integrating best quality design, architecture, and detailing combined with skilled craftsmanship. Congratulations. The next category we have is Luxury Project of the Year East. And this goes to Vinayak Vista from Vinayak Group. They say experience the joys of living. I would like to welcome Mr. Umesh Kyal.
Guys, will just be called out. I might need you to go silent for a minute. I'll just raise my hand just in case.
Mr. Umesh Kyal, do we have you here with us?
Yes, madam.
Congratulations, आपको ये अवार्ड मिल रहा है, कैसा लग रहा है, प्लीज हमें बताइए.
Thanks for that, and I will try to get it again in next year.
Absolutely. Wishing the same. आपको दोबारा ये अवार्ड मिले. Wishing all the love and luck in the world. Congratulations once again.
Thanks, madam. Thanks to our team also.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. We have Fabiola here with us. I would like to request Fabiola also to kindly share a few words with us for winning the Most Sustainable Architecture Design Residential Award. Hi, Fabiola. All right. Proceeding on to the next award. This category is called the Luxury Project of the Year South. Century Ethos from Century Real Estate gets this award. They say an address that expresses the lifestyle of select few connoisseurs. The next award we have is the Most Innovative Project of the Year, Residential East, and it goes to Orbit Lumiere from Orbit Group. They say Orbit Lumiere is all about that beautiful sense of owning the sky. Situated at the prime of the city, this much coveted project brings the finest amenities with a touch of artistry and elevates you a notch above. Congratulations, Orbit Lumiere. Proceeding on to the next one. This is the most innovative project of the year, Residential North, and it goes to Infinity Homes, KGK. They say, far from daily chaos, close to your heart. I would like to request Mr. Rajesh Jain to kindly join us and share a few words with us.
Thanks to jury and Remax on behalf of KGK Real to acknowledge our efforts in development of these unique projects. We are developing all our projects considering the requirement of end users to give the comfort level to them. Excellent design, quality control, timely delivery and maintenance of these projects are our key principles, which differentiate our company with others. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jain, and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Proceeding on to the next category, which is Smart Project of the Year, Residential North. This goes to Shubhashish Geeta from Shubhashish Homes. They say, live the resort life daily. Wow, that is wonderful. Mr. Mohit Jaju, the CEO, is present here with us. Can we please request you to share a few words with us, sir?
Hi Annie. First of all, I want to thank you all at the Estate Awards team from Remax and Franchiseindia and Entrepreneur. I just want to say that we have developed one of the most smart project of the year in the country, and in terms that we are seeing the future. So we are right now development in Rajasthan, which is a dark zone. There is no water here. There's a water crisis here. So we want to save every drop of water. So that is why we are the first ones in North India to introduce prepaid smart water meters, which brings down the water consumption of a society to 50%. And similarly, we are the only developers in North India who have given electric car charging provisions for all the 650 cars in this project simultaneously. And I just wish that in future, more and more developers and projects, they incorporate all these features so that we are nature friendly. At the same time, we take care of water and electricity, and we don't face water crisis in future. That's it. Thank you so much.
That is a lovely motive to have. That is really, really nice. Very, very innovative. Congratulations once again, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So with that, let us proceed on to the next category, which is Commercial Property of the Year North. And this award goes to Omax High Street, Lucknow, from the Omax Group. They say the project's High Street vision is to provide visitors the ambiance of a home in the luxury of hotel suites. Congratulations. Let us proceed on to the next category, which is Commercial Property of the Year South. And this goes to Meenakshi Pride Rock Phase 3 from Meenakshi Group. Congratulations. They say we have the world-class IT park for global organizations. May we please request V.V. Bhaskara Rao, the General Manager and Project Director, to kindly share a few words with us.
Thank you. I'm extremely gratified about this award, ma'am. Firstly, I want to appreciate the members of the jury for choosing our organization for this project, and definitely it's showing great respect for us with this project. No doubt, it becomes an added feather to our organization. Thanks once again, jury members, for this award. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and congratulations, sir. All right, so proceeding on to the final award of this category, of this segment, we have Environment Friendly Project of the Year, Commercial North, and this goes to Max House from Max Estates Limited. They say the mission of Max Estates is to offer spaces for commercial use with utmost attention to detail, design, and lifestyle. Congratulations to all our winners who got awarded, and to the ones who did not. I am sure the next summit that we hold, I will definitely be handing out more awards to you. So we have Fabiola here. Would you like to share a few words with us, Fabiola? All right, let us proceed on to the next segment, that is panel discussion. The second panel discussion that we have for today. The topic that we have right now in hand is, has India reaped the benefits of REIT? Through the structure provides a great investment opportunity. REIT has still remained a vehicle for few. What are the hurdles? That is the topic we have in hand. And our speaker cum moderator is Mr. Sharad Agarwal, the Executive Director of Capital Market Knight Frank. We have Mr. Vinod Rohira, the Chief Executive Officer of Mindspace Business Parks, REIT. Could we please welcome the gentleman here? Very good evening to both of you. Thank you so much for being a part of this session. Good evening, gentlemen.
Thanks, Annie. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. All right, so let me welcome our dignitaries and delegates who will be joining us for the panel discussion. We have Mr. Vikash Khodlia, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer and COO, Embassy REIT. We have Mr. Naveen Kedia, the CFO, DLF Cyber City Developers Limited. And we have Mr. Ramesh Nair, the Chief Executive Officer, India and Managing Director, Market Development, Asia Colliers. Welcome, gentlemen, and let us take this panel discussion forward. Giving it over to
Annie.
Sharad, sir.
Thank you, Annie. Thanks for the introduction. Good afternoon to all. REITs have been a topic of great debate in the Indian real estate sector for close to 2 decades now. So when REITs were finally allowed in India, the expectations were that there will be a flurry of companies that will opt for that. The pace, however, has been gradual, with the pandemic perhaps playing a part in it. As an instrument of investment, I don't think there is any doubt that REITs offer one of the best options for investors, where they can participate in the real estate upside while enjoying a steady rental income as well. In fact, REITs are still the only financially efficient and well-regulated vehicle for mass participation in the commercial real estate. And these also constitute a good exit route for the principals. Our primary aim today would be to understand the future of REITs in India, especially in the backdrop of the pandemic. As all of us are aware, the pandemic has made the environment more dynamic and more challenging for all markets around the world, whether in the developed countries or in developing economies like ours. If we come to Indian REITs and how they've performed over the last almost 2 years, we see that the net operating income and the net distributable cash flows for REITs have remained relatively steady throughout the pandemic period, and even grown and stabilized in 2021. The relative strength of the underlying cash flows is apparent when seen in the backdrop of the volatility experienced by overall market leasing volumes during the same period. Most REIT portfolios have been relatively less impacted as against the disruption in physical office space take-up due to the high quality and diversified tenant rosters. With that, let me invite each of our panelists to give us their views on the real estate market in general and how the market has changed in the last 21 months for REITs. Let us, maybe if we can start with Ramesh to go first. Over to you, Ramesh.
Thank you, Sharad. Am I visible?
No, we're seeing some backdrop, I think. We can't see you.
Okay, I'm like struggling to connect. If you could just go to a couple of the other panelists, I'll just connect and come back.
Yeah, Vinod, maybe if you can come in.
Sure.
So we've done a full 360 in the last 18 months, I think. Right from complete disbelief that nobody's going to get back to the office suddenly after having used the office space for over 100 years, to now coming back and saying we want to get back to office as soon as we can. So it's been a journey across the globe. Everyone in this space obviously has gone through a roller coaster ride. But fortunately for India, 2-3 things have happened which are key for the way you need to look at the Indian markets. Primarily, commercial real estate largely is driven by tech companies that consume space in India. 70 to 80% of that footprint is driven by technology companies. These technology companies are actually servicing the globe. And India has actually delivered and performed with extreme resilience for the global services network, and has delivered to the world by saying that India can deliver in the worst circumstances. Having said that, you've seen a crazy growth with all technology companies in India. You've seen a growth of revenues even for the global companies that are doing services from India. You've seen a huge ballooning of employment in the technology space. All of that, with that volume of hiring and that volume of people, you are going to see that translate back into physical occupancies really soon. And we've seen that stability return back to the market. We are hopeful. I think calendar year 22 will give you a different story going forward into 23, etc. So the worst is behind us. Absolutely, we need to make sure we continue to provide AAA grade infrastructure, health and safety protocols, etc. in our workplaces. And with the vaccination protocol that India has embarked on, hopefully, if we don't have an aggressive third wave, we are on really solid ground for growth.
Thanks for that, Vinod. Vikas, maybe I can ask you to come in next and give your opening comments on how you've seen the market change for the last year and a half, 2 years.
Sure. So I think I agree with a lot of things that Vinod said. I think the last 18 months has been real test, but it's been fantastic the way the resilience has been shown by the REITs, the listed REITs. The way I look at it is, in India, REITs are a yield plus growth story, not just a yield story like it is in the US. And as Vinod mentioned, I think it is the growth which is really exciting as we move forward. The demand side, the hiring, and a lot of outsourcing. But also what's happened on the supply side is, the supply is declining for grade A office space simply because there's a massive consolidation which was already underway even pre-COVID. And now, we have very few handful of large developers or institutional landlords in the country who have those balance sheets, who can continue to construct large scale business parks. So I think it's a pretty good dynamic with, demand really. We see that demand is going to be extremely robust as we move forward, given the strong hiring and outsourcing. And on the supply side, grade A office space, the supply is declining. And the kind of customers that India real estate on the office side is attracting, it's really high-end occupiers who are doing sophisticated works, who really want the best health and safety and amenities for the employees. So I think it's a pretty good phase that we are in. And I think there's a lot of embedded growth as we move forward. So pretty exciting. And REITs are the right vehicle, the right product to participate in this growing commercial real estate story. So I think the worst is behind and there's a lot of opportunity as we move forward.
Thanks for that, Vikas. Maybe I can ask Naveen to come in next, and how do you see the market and what has changed?
Yeah, thanks, sir. So I tend to agree with Vikas and Vinod as well. The Indian businesses have shown resilience over the last 18 months. And especially all the businesses primarily driven by the tech business service, they have been able to cater to the global requirements. And if one were to look at the last 18 months, despite the pandemic and the headwinds which we were facing, we saw a REIT listing happening. We have seen transactions happening on the REIT space, block deals happening, which reinforces the confidence what the investors have on this product. So while the headwinds are still there, albeit it's hopeful one is it will abate. But I think that confidence is there and the businesses are bound to come back with a vengeance as and when it subsides. So I think it is a platform which one is very well, everyone is interested and one should be watching out.
Thanks, Naveen. Ramesh, I hope we can see you, definitely see you now. So I think it's all good. So maybe you can come in and you have a wider perspective on what's happening, not just office in general, real estate in India, and how do you see the market shaping up going forward?
See, the key worry right now is decision making has slowed down over the last 1.5 years. That's been a concern. There is definitely work from home worries which have been there for the real estate community, including people like us and the developers and owners. The other big worry is multinationals are not pushing their employees enough to come back to work, because HR teams are saying if you push employees too much to come, then they'll quit the company. So that's like a catch-22 situation right now, where and we can clearly see a difference between multinational occupiers versus Indian companies. Yesterday I was talking to a large multinational bank of a large global in-house center in different parts of India, including Mumbai, and he was telling me now they may push their re-entry to third quarter of next year. Now we were all hoping by March, April, things are going to move and people are going to come back. Now this new variant again is going to delay stuff. So I think these are the big concerns, because that means for third year in a row, companies will be paying rent without actually occupying the space. If you ask Vikas and Vinod, their rental numbers are, I'm sure, more than 98, 99% rental inflows of what is contracted. But tenants are just not using the space. And how long will that continue? I think the challenge of re-entry seems to continue. And the last 3-4 weeks, I've again seen the same kind of questions which were asked during April, May of this year. And although we know how to handle the situation much better, the other day, it's a funny statistic. The other day I was checking some data on hotel occupancy in Goa in June, July of this year versus June, July of last year. Occupancy has gone up 300%. So, but occupancy in buildings where you have to re-enter and start working, that's just not going up. So this is my opening thoughts.
Yeah, so thanks for that, Ramesh. I think since we are on that, work from home hybrid model, and I think you have a slightly different view. Maybe I can ask Vinod and Vikas to come in and share their perspective on this whole work from home hybrid model, impact on occupancy, rents, and the ramification for REITs. Maybe Vinod can go first, and then Vikas, he can come in.
Sure. So I think what's important to understand in the larger picture of things, step away from just the tech footprint. If you look at cities like Bombay, for example, where domestic India, in my view, is 80-90% back on the desk. You have traffic on the roads, you have offices that are full. Having said that, every mall, every cinema, every restaurant, every leisure hotel across of India is at 2 times the rack rate. So if people can travel in high density populations, if they can go to entertain themselves in high density populations, and if they can be in areas where there is no health and safety protocol possible, then there is no reason why they can't be in the office. While I understand that there is a mindset which has played on people over 18 months working from home, it happened to us as well when we started to get back to our office in July. Since then, we are 100% occupied in our offices with not a single case of COVID, with the grace of God and protocols that we put into our buildings coming out of any of these occupants. If you look at high streets and you look at the public transport networks, they are packed to the brim. If that was going to impact, then you would have had thousands and thousands of cases in India already. Having said that, if you can go everywhere else, you can go to work. And I can assure you that the office spaces are as safe or more safer than your home. So keeping that in mind, with the aggressive vaccination protocol, you are seeing domestic India back. You are seeing some of the GCCs, GICs asking their employees to start coming in. If you ask me 30th September, what was our physical occupancy? It was as low as 7%. If you ask me today, what's my occupancy? It's 14%. So you might still say it's 14, but I'm telling you it's double of what it was 2 months ago. And they're already planning to bring it up to 25% by March. So once you start coming to office, even if you start for 2 days in the week, you're not going to like the idea of continuing to work from home. And you will see that differentiation that will take place very rapidly. I think what will happen is they will give you the option to come twice in a week, or maybe 3 times in the week to office. And once you start that, you want to be in office, and then the rest of the story will be automatically played out. That's the way I see it. Vikas, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree completely. So, physical occupancy is low today at the parks. The third variant obviously is a dampener, but, we see it more as transitionary, just to take a step back. What, the fundamentals that we're talking about is companies are growing at a rapid pace. There's a lot of digital transformation that's happening. There's a lot of outsourcing work that's coming to India. India has the talent pool, and the hiring numbers have been off the charts if you compare it over the last decade. And the most renowned global and Indian leaders have said office is the place where they want, which they want to be the core of the activities, for their companies. So if you put all of these together, we know that office will be the core tool by which they attract talent and retain talent, and it will be the main hub where all the collaboration, all the mentoring and all will happen. So it's more of timing issue. But interestingly, if you look at the supply side, cities like Bangalore, have a sub 7, sub 8% vacancy levels today. And, occupiers have now realized that they need to start planning 2, 3, 4 years ahead if they really want to get into those large scale, really high quality office spaces or ecosystems, as we call it, right? So in fact, we've seen, and something which you also mentioned last quarter, we've seen a tremendous amount of momentum in most of our markets, especially Bangalore. And I think that will follow in all the other cities. Mumbai, we are seeing a good pickup. Pune, there are early conversations. So I think occupiers have started realizing that they now need to have medium and long-term real estate strategy in place, given that they've not taken any decision for the last 18 months, as Ramesh said. So I think it's a good opportune time. In fact, we believe, Sharad, that it's the best time to construct more. And I think all the large institutional players, we are actually double down on our construction. We are right now starting a new hotel. That's the amount of confidence, digging a new hotel during the third wave, right? So I think I think the flexible or work from home, I think it's clear that office is going to be the hub. There may be some amount of flexibility, but that will be more than compensated with both increase in the amount of space that's required per employee, which had gone down to as low as 75, 80 square feet per person. And more importantly, we are seeing in the newer RFPs and the new requirements that the global companies are factoring in a lot more collaborative and common spaces, because they want to ensure that, the office is the core where all the employees come and generate new ideas. So we think, the flexibility or the flexibility of working 1 or 2 days from home is not going to impact demand and for the offices. And on the other hand, the amount of leapfrog that the world has made in terms of the digital transformation, I think a lot of work will keep coming to India. So it's really a good time, and it's an opportune moment for us. We think demand is already picking up. We think it will pick up even more by mid of this year, 2022. And 2023, we really think will be, we will see really, really high numbers on absorption.
For that, because Naveen, what are you seeing at DCCDL in terms of demand and occupancy?
So, sir, while the work from home is playing on the psyche, but if one were to look at the data points, which Vinod also mentioned, you see like a gradual inching up of the occupancy or the footfalls which is coming back into the offices. So in our case, if you were to look in a Delhi NCR kind of a situation, currently I think the footfalls are back to the levels of 35-40%. And we're pretty hopeful, but with the turn of the calendar year, many of the companies have already put in their plans as to back to office strategies. The occupiers have been in discussions with the landlords as to how do they enable the comeback of the employees to their offices. relatively comfortable experience and also to give them that experience that they are in a safer place. So we are pretty hopeful that these numbers will keep going up. Although, yes, we do have a little bit concerns on the third wave and one has to keep a watch on that. But having said so, one can also look at from a occupier's perspective. If you look at a couple of the big five IT players and the kind of recruitments or hiring which they have done in the last 2 quarters, that had outstripped almost like the total hiring in the last year. And somewhere or other, you'll have to put those people back into office, whatever that proportion is. So the demand for the space going forward is going to be significant. It's only a matter of like months or probably a quarter, and then you'll see that these demands are coming back to the offices.
Yeah, thanks for that. So Ramesh, I don't know if you want to respond to that, but I have another question for you. One is that, what we've seen a number of, tech-enabled listings come to the market this year. It's been a great year for IPOs. Some of them are not even profitable. And the listed real estate stocks also have done well on the back of residential demand. And, I think the index itself is up probably 50-60%. Whereas performance of the REITs year to date has been muted, relatively muted. So do you think there is, since this is a listed product, it caters to the retail investor, is there a preference of the investors, and is there something missing in the story that does not appeal so much to the retail investors?
Thanks, Sharad. Very good question. I think we need to take it from a medium to long-term point of view. I don't think if you're looking for monthly returns or weekly returns, one should invest in REITs. Globally, it's a proven asset class for many decades. We're talking of like $2 trillion plus REITs across the world. It's there in US, Europe, multiple parts of Asia, Japan, everywhere there is REITs. I think this is probably one of the best things which have happened in the Indian real estate market, was how the government went all out to make sure REITs are successful. Just look at the 3 REITs today. I'm sure over a period of time there would be some bad apples coming in REITs, but all the 3 REITs today, close to a $8 billion kind of a market cap between them. Look at the type of sponsors, where you get names better than a Blackstone or a Brookfield, the best development names in the country, Reja, KRC, and Embassy. Look at the local experience of the teams. You won't find smarter people than Vinod and Vikas in the commercial real estate industry as such. And it's not easy. When you look at their portfolios, it's easy to say 20 million, 30 million for consultants like us to sit on a screen and say 20, 30 million to build an IT park in India, a lakh of square feet. You know the challenges, and it's not easy to replicate. So these are some of the things we need to keep in mind. Look at the tenant profile, all multinational tenant profile, Fortune 500, good lock-in periods. There is all the 3 REITs are sitting on good development opportunities. So there is unbuilt FSI potential in their respective parks, corporate governance of the highest standards. They've always known for their corporate governance, these development firms and these REITs. So I would say don't look at it from 1 year, 2 year, 6 months kind of a point of view. And it's a stabilized income producing product, which gives you both growth and dividends. So I think one needs to take a more medium-term view before just looking at a 6 months performance and taking a decision.
So that, because I don't know if you want to come in and chime on that. What's your view on, after seeing all these tech IPOs, and also not just that, but also how the listed resi players have performed, just because some momentum has come back on the residential side vis-a-vis what's happening on the office side, and specifically how the equity markets are looking at the REITs.
Yeah, so Sharad, I think if you look at it, the listed REITs today, about 60,000 odd crores market cap, all three put together, is about 17% of the entire listed real estate space in India. Typically, if you would see it for mature market like US, what's the proportion of REITs to listed players? It would be more like 75%. So there's a lot of scope, both for the existing REITs to increase as well as for new REITs to come in. From our perspective, we think it's a fantastic product. Whether it's a senior citizen or millennial, it's a fantastic product which offers a blend of yield and growth, and that growth is real. It's not some open sky far-fetched thing. In our case at Embassy REIT, since we got listed over the last 2.5 years, we have delivered a 40% return, total return. Both the stock price appreciation as well as the dividends over the last 10 quarters. So I think REIT, people have to look at it in the perspective. It's a commercial rent yielding asset class. There's a huge safety net in terms of the downside protection, and majority of the dividends are tax exempt. So if you put it in that context, I think REIT as a product is an essential component of anyone's investment portfolio. And it really, as we move forward, we will see more and more people have these embedded within their investment strategies.
Vinod, if I can ask you to come in here, and I think see, we've only seen 3 REITs so far, and do you feel that there is an appetite in the market for more REITs, and is there enough depth and liquidity and appreciation of the asset class in the market, and do you foresee more REITs coming to the market in the next, let's say, 12 to 18 months?
So I'll just take off from where Vikas left. Primarily, if you see, like he mentioned, we are still taking baby steps in the REIT space in India. Okay, if you just look at the US market, you will realize that every kind of asset has been listed as a REIT, whether it's a hospital or a jail or a residential or student accommodation or retail or hotels. Everything is a REITable asset, right? So India has to understand that investment class. While in India, everyone loves investing in real estate. You've seen fractional ownership with commercial real estate. You've seen starter title. All of those elements in the future will move towards a more flexi investment model, which is the REIT, which gives you the capital appreciation, gives you the growth, gives you the exit that you're looking for without having to worry about doing strata sales and maintaining your asset and looking after your asset, etc. So as you see, like he mentioned, whether it's high net worth individuals or millennials, whoever wants to participate in real estate, this will be the best model to play with. Having said that, out of the 600 odd million square feet that's built, almost 300 odd million is REITable because it's got institutionalized. Over and above that, between 30 and 40 million is getting built and added every year to this entire chunk, which is a huge number when you look at growth. When you look at world over, you will not get this volume of growth. And the average rent of that portfolio is just sub $1 per square foot, which is cheaper than most of the established markets world over. So with the micro markets growing, with your GDP growing, and with the economic power growing in each of these markets where these large tech parks are getting built, which will convert to CBDs in the future, with infra bringing them closer right in the middle of cities because of the catchment you create, it will talk of a very different story 10 years from today. So if you're looking at wanting to participate in the growth story of India, then this is the most suitable instrument to participate on the long term, which is what Ramesh also mentioned. It's not for a 3 week, 6 week, 2 month, 3 month, 6 month investment cycle. You have to put it into the right platform where you have the right asset managers looking after the portfolio for you. The value will be demonstrated by asset management, quality of assets, quality of tenants, and your credit risk that you take as an organization with the prudence you have in terms of governance and capital play. And you will see this go on consolidating, and you'll have solid players on the top that will control and dominate this market in terms of supply and dynamics, as well as relationship dynamics for the large global players that will occupy. So I think it's a great story. You just got to have patience.
Thank you so much, sir. Sharad sir, unfortunately, we have 5 more minutes left only for the panel discussion. So,
sure, we started late, so I think you should give us at least that much time. Right. But if I can quickly bring in Naveen here. So, Naveen, do you see that there could be any regulatory changes or taxation changes that could be introduced that would expedite more REITs coming to the market? Or is there something else that is holding back more players who could come to the market?
So before I answer that question, probably I'll just take a step back. See, the REIT regulations got announced in 2014, and it took almost like 5 years for the first REIT to come into the market. And since then, two more new ones have come in within the span of 18 months. So I think a lot has already been done by the regulators when it comes to like understanding the requirements of the market and bringing the REIT markets in alignment with the global framework. Having said that, there's still some smaller issues which are still open on the table, and the developers have been like making representations around that. And if and when I think some of these representations are accepted by the regulators and the amount of amendments have been done, I'm expecting that some of the developers who might still be sitting on the fence, they'll also join in. And one also has to understand that in the real estate sector as such, the way it's organized today, there are many like the corporate structure is such that if you have to make it a REIT ready structure, it takes a while for that platform to really make it as a REIT efficient platform. And it always comes with a time and a cost as well. So some of the regulatory changes which one is looking forward to is an ease of asset transfers to the REIT. While the SPV transfers against a swap of units is tax exempt, however, asset transfer by an individual or a LLP or a body corporate is still taxable. Similarly, like when it comes to the recognition of the SPVs, today you have typically a REITs with a holdco and an SPV structure. And when it comes to a listed REIT versus a listed equity, you still have a distinction of the SPVs, whether or not they are entitled as an entity from income tax perspective, which is like an entity in which public is substantially interested. So there are a couple of these regulatory changes. If one were to like the regulators were to look at it favorably, I'm hopeful that some more REITs within 2 years time frame should come into the market.
Thanks for that, Naveen. Because if I can bring you here, we are seeing that the interest rate cycle is turning in India and also globally. Fed has also signaled last night. So what do you see will be the impact as the interest rates start to inch up slowly, both from a retail investor point of view as well as from manufacturers and developers point of view?
Sure. So I think last 2 years, the interest rate cycle really benefited the landlords and the developers. We've at Embassy REIT, we have logged in 70% of our debt as fixed cost at sub 7%. But as we see the interest rates rising, we are focused more on, okay, what's the central bank's efforts towards? And I think all of them are focused towards growth. So as long as the interest rates rise is, combined with economic growth, and growth initiatives, a new investment cycle, I think that augurs very well because it helps us to both hold our rentals and increase, get those increases on the rent as well as, have new space take up. So I think it's good as long as it is combined with growth. I think it helps us, especially given the sub-dollar rents. If you look at it from developer perspective, I think for the large institutional landlords or developers, it's pretty good because rising interest rates means that for the smaller players, it really impacts their economics, and that again has a impact on supply. So for the large listed players and large landlords, it's pretty good because given their balance sheets, they can access debt still at a very competitive rate, even a interest rate hardening kind of an environment, compared to some of the other developers who may not have the same balance sheet. And on the supply side, it kind of would push out some of the supply, given that capital becomes more scarce and costly. I think REITs typically do pretty well in a rising interest rate environment if it's also combined with some of the economic growth that we spoke about.
Thanks for that. Vinod, I don't know if you want to come in and add something to that.
No, I think he's covered all your points. You are short on time, so I don't want to just.
Sure. So maybe switching to Ramesh, and we briefly touched upon other asset classes because globally we've seen REITs in various other asset classes. And also another point was on the, there are a number of platforms have been set up on fractional ownership. So Ramesh, if you can come in and talk about what your views are on both of those.
I think it's I think it's a matter of time, like Vinod said, that we'll see REITs and other asset classes. Well, look at the industrial space. There's so much of activity happening. 6, 7 global players, all active. You have players like Indospace, backed by CPPIB. You have ESR now, ESR, which is merged with Logos, Capital, and Ascendas. Blackstone having 3 different partnerships, Morgan Stanley having 3 different partnerships. So there's a lot of activity happening on the industrial space. I think in the next 2-3 years, definitely you'll see REITs happening on the industrial space. Retail again is an asset class where high chances of a REIT coming in the next 1 to 2 years. Last year saw Blackstone consolidating the malls of Prestige. I think Blackstone has 18-20 malls now. Then there are other platforms. You have developers like KRC sitting on InOrbit. You have DLF with their malls. You have Phoenix, CPPIB. Okay, that's already listed. So I think there will be huge amount of opportunities coming in other asset classes. It's only a matter of time. Like Vinod said, in US, everything is a REIT, from a prison REIT to a hospital REIT to all kinds of REITs are there. So it's I think it'll be a very interesting decade for the next 10 years, and huge opportunity. My 2-line reason why I personally invest in REITs is because even if you see, you're not going to see a Black Monday or a Black Wednesday or something in the REIT market. It's even if prices correct a little bit, it will happen over a period of time, which is a good opportunity for you to get out, and predictability. And you can predict if today it's a little tough because vacancy levels are increasing a little bit, demand has gone down. So you can at least predict what's happening. Low, there's hardly any volatility. It doesn't behave like this. It's like when it goes down, it's like a flat line. And like Vikas said, I think the very fact that you're getting both the dividend and the growing rentals with regulations, what is regulated by SEBI. I think these are some of the reasons why the viewers of this webinar should invest in REITs. This is Vinod, it's now 15,000-20,000 rupees also you can invest, right? The REIT market, because
that's right.
Yeah, which was not available till a year back. It was much higher, 50,000. 1 lakh.
You can trade in single units as well.
Single unit, as little as 360 rupees actually.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Okay, so I think it's a great opportunity for investors. Yes, one thing which is very important is Indians save a lot of money, and not all money goes into mutual funds. It's still, so we look at the metros today. Okay, there are people investing in mutual funds, but a lot of Indians still buy homes across the country, and for them, instead of buying your second, third, fourth home, I think REITs is definitely an opportunity to invest and grow your capital. So whatever the Indians save 18-20% of your wealth, of our wealth, that I see a good portion slowly coming to the REIT market.
Thanks for that. Naveen, I think if we can move to closing comments. Naveen, if you can come in, anything you want to add to the discussion, anything we missed out?
Well, if it's from the closing, we are trying to probably look at the Indian REIT market with an experience of, say, only a couple of years versus a Singapore or US market, which are probably a very mature market. So it's taken Singapore or Japan like 2 decades, and in the US, it's probably a 6-decade story. And while Ramesh commented that there are many more other asset classes which are yet to come into the REIT market, but probably yeah, they are still some distance away because they first have to gather that mass and criticality to make it like some viable ones to come onto the market. But as I concur with Ramesh in the sense it offers a great opportunity for the retail investors to participate in a real estate investment. And I think the psychology of investing in a real estate in a real form versus a like investment in real estate through a traded platform stock, that I think needs to be brought home. That here is an option to invest in a real estate with a very ease of entry and exit, minimal cost, and yet reap the benefits of investing in a grade A properties, which is managed and managed independently by a board and professionals. So somehow this awareness, as and when it goes up, you'll see more and more retail participation, while the organized investors, they are already like conversant with the product. And if you look at the appetite from the organized investors, that appetite and investment is already there, which is to come into this market.
Just to add to what Naveen said, a couple of things only. It's primarily you're earning tax-free income predominantly every quarter. So you don't have to wait for the asset appreciation to come to you at one go. You're actually encashing your dividend literally tax-free. The majority component of what you're getting is tax-free, which is a remarkable thing for you to be able to participate in growth, participate in real estate, as well as get your dividend on the table every quarter.
Yeah, Vinod, if you can also give your closing comments, anything you'd like to add?
I think it's more about the right education to the investor base to understand the type of opportunity REITs can provide you. It's more about patient capital, which is looking for long-term growth, and India is the best example for growth because you will see a lot of growth in this sector along with all the other sectors. If we are looking at doubling our economy in the next 4 or 5 years, you're going to see everything doubling up, whether it's volume of commercial real estate, whether it's residential real estate, whether it's all the other business opportunities you're seeing. So as long as you are able to put the right investment into right buckets, and real estate being a crucial one for growth in a developing economy like India, I think you'll be a winner at the end of it.
Thanks for that. Vikas, if I can come to you for closing comments.
I think, I just concur with everything that's said. I think it's an opportune time. I just wanted to give an interesting statistic. Since we got listed 2.5 years back, we've seen about a 12x increase in the retail participation, in the number of retail investors we have in the Embassy REIT. So I think it will be similar story for the others as well. I think it's great to see more and more participation, more and more acceptance and awareness of the product. I think a lot more needs to be done to ensure there's penetration, across the tier 2, tier 3 cities and across the smaller towns on the understanding and the benefits of the product. So I think it can only get better and better from here on. And, that's something which all of us have to together kind of work on in communicating the benefits of the product. It's a phenomenal opportunity, as Vinod said.
Thanks, Vikas. Ramesh, final thoughts from your side. You're on mute, Ramesh.
Sorry, I'm quite bullish, Sharad, on REITs for 4-5 reasons. In spite of the last 1.5 years being so tough, you look at the rent collections, the vacancy levels have gone up, but not by much. The tenancy profile, the ability of these REITs to keep renewing their deals, I think investors need to look at it not just from a current rental opportunity. Many of these assets which were leased like 7-8 years back, where the lease expiries of the lease duration is coming to an end of 9 or 10 years, there is definite mark-to-market opportunity. Yield compression will definitely happen if REITs decide to, some of them will exit at the right time. And also the ability to develop in the current existing land where there is unutilized FSI potential. So I think all these three put together, we'll be talking of a much higher return than what REITs are giving now. So that's the long-term play.
Thanks for that. I think with that we come the end of our discussion. I don't see any questions in the chat box. So thank you all, gentlemen, for an engaging and insightful discussion. And back to you, Annie.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for giving us such insightful thoughts and statements. Got to learn a lot once again from this panel discussion. So proceeding on, now we shall begin with the third set of awards. So let us begin without any further delay. So the first category of awards we have is the Developer of the Year, Residential South, and the winner is Spectra Constructions. They say, at Spectra, we aim to offer our customers the highest quality luxury living spaces experience by integrating best quality design, architecture, and detailing combined with skilled craftsmanship. Ladies and gentlemen, let us congratulate them. And I would also like to encourage people to please share your comments in the chat box. Proceeding on to the next category, we have Emerging Developer of the Year, Retail North. And the winner is Delhi Land and Construction Company Limited. They say, homes and relations we build are forever. Congratulations. And proceeding on to the third category, which is Emerging Developer of the Year, Residential South. And this award goes to KP Homes. They say, building homes that house prosperity, joy, and celebrate family. The next award is the Best Luxury Premium Housing Developer of the Year East. And this goes to Orbit Group. They say if there's a word that encapsulates Orbit, it is passion. We don't just build but create experiences. We tailor architectural designs around the lives of people who live. At Orbit, there's no foundation deeper than a relationship, than nothing more monumental than reputation. We believe in bonds for life, and every bond is elevated by Rishto Ki Mithas. This really touched my heart. This is very, very sweet. Proceeding on to the next category, we have Best Real Estate Consultant of the Year, Residential from West, and goes to Rise Realty. They say Best Real Estate Consultant of the Year is Residential West. I would like to request Mr. Abhijit Deshpande to kindly share a few words with us, please.
Very good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you to all the juries for appreciating our work and rewarding this prestigious award to Rise Realty. We are really proud and happy to achieve this award. And I think this is gonna be the catalyst in our future, all of our future endeavors and future progress. So thank you once again. I'm really glad to receive this award. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot once again.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to you once again. Proceeding on to the next category, we have Best Real Estate Consultant of the Year, Residential South, and this goes to R2S Property Management Services. They say to be a leader in the real estate industry by providing enhanced services, relationship, and profitability. Congratulations. The next category is Emerging Developer of the Year, Commercial West, and the winner is Raisakaran Developers. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Yes, at Raisakaran, through its residential and commercial structures, aims to promote a superior quality of life with access to abundant space, comfort, privacy, and sustainability. I would like to welcome Mr. Sameer Bandukwala, our Honorable Director, to please come and share a few words with us.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Extremely honored to receive the award for Emerging Developer of the Year. While our IT park has been a long-standing landmark, we are glad to have been recognized for a space and how now focuses on employee wellness. The park was built by combining our passion for art and architecture. Having collaborated with some of the most eminent names of architecture in the world, we built a sustainable, holistic ecosystem that is engineered to last a lifetime and serves as a work address to international renowned brands. Once again, I would like to thank Franchiseindia and the jury for recognizing us, and my entire team for their consistent effort and contribution in helping making Rajaskaran a synonymous with excellence. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, and congratulations to you. All right, proceeding on to the next one, we have the most trusted developer of the year, South, and the award goes to Century Real Estate, an address that expresses the lifestyle of the select few connoisseurs. Proceeding on to the next category, this is the Emerging Developer of the Year, Commercial North, and this award goes to Max Estates Limited. Max Estates Limited is the real estate development arm of the Max Group, with an exceptional team of engineers, architects, planners, specialists, and collaborations with global leaders in design, master planning, landscape, and sustainability. I would like to welcome our Honorable COO, Mr. Rishi Raj, to kindly share a few words with us.
Thank you. We are really encouraged and thrilled to receive this award. Both of our office asset, Max Tower and Max House, has received very positive and strong traction, so much so that it has been 100% leased at 25-30% premium to the micro market. This is a clear testimony of we not only building a grade A plus asset, but our underlying philosophy of work well, through which we endeavor to provide holistic well-being, both physical and emotional, to our tenants by curating a unique confluence of spaces and amenities in our office assets, which enable collaboration, community, and innovation, which we all believe are the pillars of how the role of office will be seen in near future. So thank you, Franchiseindia. Thank you, Remax. Thanks to entire Max Estates Limited team to make this happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, and congratulations once again.
Thank
All
you.
right, with this, let us proceed on to the next category, which is the Young Achievers Award. And this goes to Mr. Vivek Agarwal, the co-founder of Square Yards. Mr. Vivek Agarwal, to brief you a little about him, is the co-founder and the chief technology officer at Square Yards, India's largest integrated platform for real estate. Vivek has been instrumental in building various tech and product platforms for the company. Congratulations, sir. Proceeding on to the next one, we have Real Estate App of the Year, and this goes to No Broker. No Broker is a peer-to-peer real estate platform that recently launched a multi-city campaign highlighting the futility of paying brokerage for residential real estate. And they have now launched a strategical OOH campaign to extend their brand proposition to different markets. Congratulations. Proceeding on to the next one, we have Pathfinders Award for Most Enterprising CXO. And this award goes to Mr. Vivek Singhal, our Honorable CEO of Smart World Developers Private Limited. Under his leadership, the SMC team is already on the verge of beating the financial year 2020 records in financial year 2021, with many projects beating their sales numbers from last year in just 6 months this year. That is phenomenal, sir. Congratulations to you and your entire team. Please do share a few words with us. Sir, I don't think you're audible. Could you check the microphone once? Still not audible to me. Can the host please help? Requesting the host to kindly help. Mr. Vivek Singhal is not audible. Not being able to hear you. Sir, you may have to check your device once, whether the microphone is on, whether you've granted permission. Sir, you're still not audible. All right, we will come back to you, sir. Let us proceed on to the final award of this segment. This is the Affordable Housing of the Year East. And this award goes to Eden Tolley Cascades, Eden Group. A new canvas awaits you at Eden Tolley Cascades to create your dream picture. Congratulations to all the winners, and I hope the nominees who haven't received awards this time surely do receive them next time. And like I said previously as well, I will be here to give you your awards. Mr. Singhal, is the problem fixed now? Still not audible, unfortunately. But it was fantastic to have you here. Congratulations to you once again. Congratulations to all the winners. And with that, we shall proceed on to our next panel discussion, and wishing to have everybody here with us. All right. So the topic for the next panel discussion is Built for Bharat. This is a very interesting topic. Looking beyond urban centers, a case for serving the aspirational and the burgeoning middle class in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. This time, we have our speaker cum moderator, Mr. Sunil Mishra, Group Chief Strategy Officer from Anarok. We have Mr. Ravindra Pai, the Managing Director of Century Real Estate. Requesting gentlemen to please come and join us here. A very good evening to both of you.
Good evening, Annie. Thanks.
Good evening.
Annie.
Good evening, sir. All right. I would also like to welcome to our panel our esteemed dignitaries, Mr. Manish Jaiswal, the COO of Eldeco Group, Mr. Dhaval Ajmera, Director of Ajmera Group of Companies, Mr. Saranash Trehan, the Managing Director of Trehan Group, Mr. Pradeep Mishra, the CMD of REPL. Gentlemen, if you could kindly join us here.
Hi, this is Manish.
Hi, Annie. This is Dhaval Ajmera here. How are you?
Hi, sir. Doing good. Thank you so much for asking.
Hi, Annie. This is Raj this side. Hi, how are you?
Good, sir. Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to have you all here. All right. So handing it over to our moderator for this panel discussion, Mr. Sunil Mishra. Please take it over, sir.
Thanks, Annie. Thank you very much. Thanks to the organizers for inviting me to moderate the session, and thanks for the gracious introduction for the whole panel, Annie. Appreciate it. Further, thanks for identifying the slightly different area of discussion from what's being normally discussed in real estate circles in the past few months. And the topic for today, as you rightly said, is pretty interesting: Build for Bharat, which is looking beyond urban centers, a case for serving the aspirational burgeoning middle class in Tier 2 and 3 cities. On the advice of Dhaval Ajmera and Ravindra Pai, which we all accepted, we are widening the topic a bit, with your permission, Annie, to include growth of real estate in satellite cities of the metros too. For example, Navi Mumbai, Kalyan, Dombivli for Mumbai, Gurgaon and Noida themselves for Delhi, and then Sohna, New Gurgaon for Gurgaon, Hoskote, etc. Bangalore. So that's a special category which we wanted to include. So in essence, for the purpose of this discussion, we are classifying the geographical market for real estate sales and renting into 3 categories. Is metro, top 10 cities. The second, next is the satellite cities of the metros, and finally Tier 2, 3 cities, which was the topic. So across these 3 categories in today's discussion, we'll try to focus on the growth of real estate in categories B and C, namely satellite cities and tier 2, 3 cities. So we'll discuss the business drivers, the sales and marketing strategies, etc., driving the growth in these two sort of. Since I have the maximum silver in my hair, I shall start off with sharing some data and hence laying the context for other smarter speakers to build on. Post that, I have scribbled about 4 or 5 topics in which I shall be pulling in 2, 3 speakers for each topic so that we go across the smattering of experience that everyone has across geography and type of speaker there is. Speakers can keep on adding to points as they feel like. It's only my look is serious. I'll be happy to, for you to jump in. So first of all, the context of the data out of the 1.4 billion population in India, right? The 140 crore or 1400 million. About 500 million now live in cities and towns. You know, the urban population are about 35% urbanization, which we have heard. So technically defined as people living in towns with greater than 5,000 population, which is almost people who are not living in villages. So this 500 million population is increasing each year by about 2.3% as people migrate from villages in search of jobs and better lives. The economy becomes less and less agrarian each year in the percentage terms. Now, out of this 500 million urban population, I'll start skinning the cat a bit. About 75 million live in the top 10 cities. You know, so Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, etc. In the municipal corporation limits. And I'm defining municipal corporation because I'm going to come to satellite towns after this. So I figured out since yesterday that another whopping 75 million live in the satellite cities. So actually, Dhaval, you were right yesterday that it's a huge chunk of population in the satellite cities around the main metros. And guess where do the migrants come in when they live? They actually start living from satellite cities. And hence that's a pretty sort of a juicy segment from real estate perspective. Reminding you, Navi Mumbai, Thane, Kalyan, Dombivli, Mira Bhayandar, Ghaziabad, Noida, Faridabad, satellite cities of Mumbai, Delhi, Hoskote, and so on and so forth. So demand for new homes for buying and renting is largely coming from 3 segments. One is migrants to metros and satellite cities, people coming from villages and smaller towns into metros and the satellite cities. Second is the intra-city. So migrants from older to the newer parts. So in the Mumbai example, Parel, 1 BHK sort of old family living for 40-50 years, moving to Thane, so which is a 2 BHK apartment. So there's a huge migration in all the big cities. So that's the second sort of segment which is migrating. And third is people buying homes in the same locality. After families are growing and getting nuclearized. So there are 3 segments that we could think of from all our ANURAG research of the last 3-4 years. Of people moving into cities, satellites, and then of course tier 2, tier 3 cities, which is the core discussion, which I'll pull in the speakers to come in and talk about. So that's roughly the context which I thought I'll lay, and I'll sort of keep on adding to points which I get based on my experience. But moving on now, sort of changing the gear, inviting the panelists into specific subtopics. So let me start the ball rolling by inviting comments from all panelists on 4 or 5 topics that I could think of. And I'll just name a couple of people for each topic. But the first topic, I wanted all 5 panelists to talk about one after another on the core topic, which is how do you see A, satellite towns, and B, tier 2, 3 cities coming up over the next few years, and how important they are in the large scheme of things in Indian real estate. So I think 2 minutes each for reasons of sanity. I'll go alphabetically, if you may. So Dhaval, followed by Manish, Pradeep, Ravi, Saransh, if you may. Dhaval, can I pull you in straight away?
Hi, thank you very much, Sunil. It's a pleasure to interacting with everyone over here. Well, you're right. My take is that the tier 2 cities and the satellite towns are a very integral part of the urbanization and the growth of India. What happens is specifically, if I have to look as tier 2 cities to be really, popular or become popular, it becomes easier for the government to, set up the infrastructure because of the availability of space and land, which is much more easier than compared to a metro city like Mumbai or Delhi or Bangalore or whatever it is. So infrastructure activities are something which we are seeing in tier 2 cities being on a very, very large scale. So let's just take an example of Lucknow or Raipur or Naya Raipur, or those kind of cities have seen a great amount of infrastructure, which has actually helped the city grow in terms of real estate, in terms of projects, and obviously with surrounding with all the industries in and around, or the work population which is happening because of the mining, let's say in Raipur, or Lucknow with agriculture or other industries setting up in and around that part of the town. So primarily, setting up of infrastructure is a very big, great, advantage for tier 2 cities. And similarly is the same for, satellite towns like Thane or, whatever. So just to give you an example, in 1995, when, Mr. Chandrasekhar, if I don't know, was the Thane Municipal Commissioner, he had the liberty and he actually transformed Thane to a great extent in terms of infrastructure. And Thane became Thane what it was because, it saw that amount of infrastructure coming up in a no span of time, which actually helped the city or that town grow exponentially. And today also, if I have to look at the rise of real estate or the demand for real estate in a particular satellite town, Thane probably still leads up in compared to Bombay or probably Kalyan, Dombivli, Palghar, whatever that other cities are. So I personally believe these cities get a great infrastructure advantage, which helps these tier 2 cities grow faster. So obviously, it becomes easier for the government to help those migrant population come in over here and help that city and in and around surroundings grow faster.
Further, so availability of land, infra, and a manageable unit for administration, like the
absolutely
showed, could actually really take this off.
Yeah.
You want to keep on rolling? If you want to go next.
Would you like me to go ahead, Sunil?
Yeah, I think Manish can't hear me.
Oh, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry. Sunil, interestingly, Aldeco Group has been fortunate enough to be present in nearly all the tier 2 and tier 3 cities of North India for last 30-35 years now. And we have seen the evolution of these cities with our own eyes. We have delivered from around 200 townships, 200 projects in these cities. Part of our business, which is the business in Lucknow, is also listed on stock exchanges for many number of years. So we've been seeing this firsthand, and this is continuously the demand over there, and the savviness of the customer, the requirement of the customer is continuously evolving as it is happening in all the other markets also. But what's the great thing what we are realizing over there is that we saw even in COVID, when the demand actually dipped in nearly all the tier 1 cities and the satellite towns. We are present in satellite towns and tier 1 cities also. The tier 2 cities are performing even then, because in tier 2 cities, the wrath of COVID, the pandemic, was probably not that bad as it was in tier 1 cities. Maybe because there is less overcrowding. There's a genuine walk to work concept over there. Probably because of these factors, there are 1 or 2 malls, not many malls over there. Cinemas are also like 2-3 cinemas in a single city, not more than that. So the pandemic actually was relatively easy on tier 2 and tier 3 cities as compared to the tier 1 and satellite towns. So we saw a very stable demand coming from those markets, even in the worst time of the pandemic. And now that pandemic is mostly over, the bounce back in demand and the bounce back in prices that we are seeing, although it is true for nearly all the markets, it's happening everywhere. But in tier 2 markets, we are seeing a very strong bounce back on the demand doubling in 1 year. Prices growing by 30-40% in 1 year. So that kind of number, although we are seeing 15%, 10%, 15%, maybe 20% hike in tier 1 market, but tier 2 markets are a different level altogether. So that's very encouraging. And there are a lot of factors over the years which have played in favor of tier 2 markets. And those demand drivers have only more demand drivers have only got added to that list post pandemic. So to basically name a few, there is a very strong reverse migration, obviously, which has happened post COVID. Work from home has evolved. Nearly all the government offices are now becoming digital. There's a comparison between the pre-geo era and post-geo era. Post-geo data costs have dropped by 90%, because of which nearly everybody, even in tier 2 or tier 3 city, has a laptop, has access to internet, has a smartphone. If you look at Flipkart, Amazon, Paytm, Myntra, all these companies which have strong digital penetration and they are dependent on the internet for their business, I think their 60-70% business is coming from tier 2 cities. You look at Flipkart's BVD sale, which happened recently. They are claiming that 52% of their visits were from tier 3 cities. In last, I think I was seeing some data in last 1 year, Paytm has seen a 2x jump in number of visitors from tier 2, tier 3 cities.
Anish, this is sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's because of this digital penetration, both on the business side as well as on the data side, and this evolution of work from home culture post COVID, the demand has suddenly exploded over there. In fact, we are sourcing, because we keep sourcing land also, we are seeing that heavy growth in the land prices also over there. Government tenders, which were usually limited to tier 1 towns, satellite towns, now PSUs are coming out with land auctions, e-auctions in all these tier 2 towns. Recently, we put in bid for a big land parcel from railways in Bareilly. We are looking at something in Rudrapur, Lucknow. We keep doing these government bids and all. Hardwar, we are putting something recently. So this on the land side also, PSUs have become active, which is a good thing because this adds to the
So should I circle back to you again once we get the sort of starting comments from everyone?
Please.
So this super stuff, like you obviously have been on the ground, so you had a bunch of insights. The savviness of customers evolving in tier 2, tier 3 towns. The COVID, of course, I was thinking of having a separate discussion on the post-COVID behavior, but fantastic points that you mentioned. Pre-geo, post-geo eras, the startups being there, Flipkart, Mantra, and the land prices, all 5-6 big areas of discussion that you opened up, and hopefully we'll continue as we move across the panel. Pradeep, do you want to go next to that, please?
Yeah. So, my company is in a field of creating new towns and redeveloping the old towns. And in that initiative, we are working with government as well as private sector. And we are working in almost all states from Ladakh to Kerala and from west to east. And my experience is that since 2005 to 2015, there was a massive growth in the metro cities. And those cities are growing like anything. And metro as well as the city around metro cities like satellite towns, they are growing like anything. But post 2015, Government of India initiative, 2-3 initiatives. One is smart cities, which generally happen in tier 2 and tier 3 town, and that improve the infrastructure of those towns sumptuously. And their net connectivity, their roads, their reaching to that place by flight, by train, good connectivity with road. Even if you see Delhi, the Delhi Meerut connectivity is extremely good now. Allahabad, a very good airport came up there. Kanpur is now connected by air. It was not earlier. So the tier 2 town, which was not taken care beyond pre-2015, post-2015, the massive infrastructure developed in tier 2 town. And tier 1 town, because of the massive growth, they started becoming more cramped. And the traffic movement was very messy. And the quality of life was very, very messy. Though the career and the business opportunity keep people pulling to the metros. But the pandemic forced the people to migrate from metro to their native place. And when they went back to their native place, they find that that city is not that bad. They have that infrastructure. They can do their job, their business online. They can do work from home. The connectivity was good. And on the same price, they can afford a bigger house, good school. And if required, then they can come back, they can visit to the metro, close by metro, in a time of say 45 minutes to say 90 minutes. And these tier 2 and the tier 3 town, they have their own influence area and they are the magnet in their own space. Generally, tier 2 town has a magnet area of around 200 kilometers around it. And those people 200 kilometers around catchment area keep coming to the tier 2 town. And tier 3 town is having a magnet area of around 100 kilometers around it. And these counter magnet, earlier the magnet was only the metros, and now these are counter magnet were created, tier 2 and tier 3. And because of COVID, the influence part of this tier 2 and tier 3, people started realizing, and they now started enjoying it. After one and a half year, they enjoyed their life, their quality of life. They are very close to their own family. They are close to their father. They are close to their school friends and the people who they left and they came to the metro. Now they prefer to stay there, and the economy is growing massively in tier 2 and tier 3. Like just now Mr. Manish has said that the growth in Flipkart and all this have started happening in tier 2 and tier 3 town. That is because of migration, forced migration because of COVID, and then people start loving that life. So this is my understanding, and my future, what I analyze that high-end job and high-end business will stay in metro, and the jobs and business at a lower level, at the mid and lower level, will go back to tier 2 and tier 3, which is in a way very, very good for country, because the wealth will be much more spread pan nation than to concentrated in few metros, and it will make a cascading effect pan India. So this is my feeling and my understanding, and this is happening in almost all state pan India, whether it is Jammu, Kashmir, Ladakh or Kerala, or Maharashtra, Gujarat, and then in Meghalaya and Assam, that side. So this is happening pan India. This is my personal experience as per my professional practice.
Fantastic. So fantastic insights. Again, I think coming off from experience. So 2-3 big bullet points. One is this whole the clear definition of the period 2005 to 15 belonging to the metros and the whole mall and flyover boom across the top 10 cities. But post 2015, a lot of investment in infra and smart cities, tier 2-3 cities, air connectivity, road connectivity that you spoke about. I think that's really kickstarted the whole economic activity there. The COVID was more looks like a shot in the arm for tier 2-3 cities, and the startups have just ridden on that to increase demand. So super points, sir. And I think let's keep on building on this. Ravindra, you want to pick up next and share your experience, please?
Sure. I want to thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this wonderful panel. Sunil, thank you for setting up the context so beautifully. What I really want to do is maybe share some of my insights, and then maybe put up some questions for my co-panelists who I believe have richer experience in the tier 2 space. I think in the context setting, you did mention that urbanization is real. I think a large part, about 35% of India is currently urbanized. The rate is also growing. Then we need to really think back in terms of why are we today talking about building a better Bharat or building tier 2. How did the tier 2, tier 3 cities the discussion come in place in the first in the first place? For me, I believe, Sunil, that 2 big events have really contributed to this whole thing, right? And one, I think most of it, everyone has spoken about it already. Maybe in a way I can summarize it in that sense. the two big events to me, one is this whole COVID situation that we all are living in. I mean, I don't need to sort of really elaborate. I think the way we live, earn, learn, play, everything has changed, post COVID. What we have really seen in Bangalore, what has happened is that while I don't know if this work from home phenomena is permanent, I mean, there's a debate that sort of continues, and I don't think the jury is out yet on that. But given the current context, I think the hybrid model of working is here to stay. What I mean is that out of a 5-day or a 6-day week, my sense is that people today are considering that maybe 3 or 4 days they can work from home and then get into office maybe just twice a week. And because of this, we are seeing a large amount of sort of demand for plotted developments in the outskirts of Bangalore. Why I'm saying this is that because as a company or a group, we have significant plotted developments in and around Bangalore, areas like Devanhalli, towards the north, Yelahanka, Dodballapur, really the fringe of Bangalore in that sense, but plotted development has really seen a big uptake, largely because people want a larger space, they possibly sort of avoid the pollution, the traffic, the noise and things like that, and really build your own sort of space in these sort of gated communities, So this is a trend that we have really seen considering the model that has evolved. From what I also hear, from many of my friends and colleagues, is that people are also now looking at destinations to sort of really settle down. It could be a Goa. Just tracking the real estate price in Goa, I think is really just shot through the roof in the last maybe year and a half or so. Surprisingly, a city like Ayodhya, because large amount of development that's taking place. Because of the old Ram Mandir, we are seeing Ayodhya as a destination sort of picking up. So I think tier 2 areas where there is something definite that's happening, like a Goa, which is a proven sort of a destination for people from, let's say, Bangalore, Bombay, Delhi. That's something that is definitely sort of we're seeing an uptick. And closer home, areas like maybe Chikmagalur, Coorg, which are again destinations that are sort of established. We're seeing a large sort of demand, for sort of maybe villas or farmhouses in that sense in these areas. The second big event I think that is really that is really taken place is the whole investment in infrastructure by the government. In a city like Karnataka, we've really gone from 8 operational airports, to about almost 10 new airports that are being added. And this obviously means, I think Pranab spoke about it, with improved connectivity, automatically, I think demand for these cities sort of really increases. Also, from a government perspective, even from an IT, our IT ministers announced beyond Bangalore as a theme. So they want to create IT destinations apart from Bangalore, because IT obviously is a large consumer of real estate, be it commercial or residential. So they are trying to see if they can take these companies into tier 2 cities, maybe a Belgaum, maybe a Hubli, Dharwad in Karnataka. And I'm sure that this is sort of also really going to boost the real estate in tier 2 cities. And also investment in sort of corridors, if I may say so, like a Bangalore-Mysore corridor that is, slated to open in the later part of next year. A travel time of roughly about 3 hours is going to come down to about 90 minutes. Virtually Mysore will become part of Bangalore. It'll become maybe another Devanhalli or Dodballapur in that sense. So what we will see is that, considering both these two phenomena that have sort of really taken place, the tier 2 cities are definitely going to see a big sort of boost in demand for real estate. The question that I really have is that, talking to a lot of my other, builder friends, many people are reluctant to go into tier 2 cities because at this point, there's just not enough scale. What sales we are sort of able to achieve in a city like Bangalore, if you go into a city like a Mangalore or a Mysore even, the scale is really a fraction of what we're seeing in Bangalore. So that is something that is definitely a question mark. And the second aspect really is that, how far is this work from home continue to stay? How far is this going to really stay? So like I mentioned, I really wanted to end with 2 questions to my co-panelists who are possibly more active and have a richer experience in the tier 2 space.
Ravindra, so we'll pick up those in my next round where I speak about a COVID lockdown and impact. And both the questions are pretty before I hand over to Saransh, just addressing one of them, Ravindra, from what I have. So you're bang on with after removing the romance of the tier 2, 3 cities and all away, data-wise, 76% of homes in 2019 were sold in top 10 cities. So, but this 2019. So post-COVID pandemic, possibly it may have changed a bit, but the earning potential in cities is phenomenal. And I've sold mutual funds and stocks and insurance and telecoms in the past. So everywhere the top 10 cities is pretty lopsided, but it's an investment in the long run. And all the points that you guys mentioned on the infra investment in a very concerted way could change the direction of the ship in some way. And I think I'll invite others to also answer this before we go there. I think I'll just hand over to Saransh to sort of add his points on tier 2, 3 cities. Saransh.
Hi, Sunil, and all the co-panelists here, and I'm very privileged to be here today. I definitely see a positive push towards the tier 2, tier 3 cities in the next 2 years. We at Rehan, we've been in the same market from the last 32 years. We have delivered over 16,000 houses in the same space in the NCR region of Rajasthan, that is Bhiwadi, Alwar and Neemrana. And we are seeing this market as a potential in the near future as well. As the industries from the NCR are moving towards the tier 2 and tier 3 cities because of the cheap labor, availability of land, and less operating expenses. And you know, these days in Delhi, there's a huge problem of pollution. Because of that, from the last 2 months, all the builders and developers of Delhi are suffering. And even the industries are closed because of this. People are moving out of this, and even I can see the trend in Bhiwadi. We can see the industrial prices triple up from the last 1 year. So as we see industrialization moving towards these cities, of course, there is going to be growth in residential as well. So secondly, the road networks here, after this government, Mr. Nitin Gadkari has taken up the road networks, it is amazingly seen that the distance between Delhi and Bhiwadi and Alwar and Neemrana has been reducing over the years from 2 hours to 40 minutes is what now it takes. So the road network has increased. So people are more keen on traveling from these cities to metros to work now, rather than living in the cities and paying huge rents. Instead, they pay good EMIs in these small towns. Bhiwadi, within a span of 45 minutes, 2,000 to 2,100 to 2,300 rupees per square feet. And in Gurgaon, it's 5,000 to 7,000 rupees per square feet. So you can see the difference within a difference of 45 minutes of travel. So this is a big point why Bhiwadi, Alwar and Neemrana region are coming up very well. Secondly, the main point why people enter into these kind of towns and why they hesitate to go there is social infrastructure, which is very, very important, like schools, colleges, medical facilities. And I think these infrastructures developing into these towns are pulling more people towards settling here in. And last but not the least, I think cost of living is a big deal here. In tier 2 and tier 3 cities, cost of living is marginally very, very less than in cities. Cost of travel is also a big factor in the white collar and blue collar people. Even the time taken to travel, and like in the COVID times, we can see I'm sitting here, I'm sitting in Bhiwadi or I'm sitting in Alwar. I'm on this conference right now. So I'm meeting the needs. So I think this is what we are seeing, what is going to happen in the near future. And tier 2, tier 3 cities, you never know when they turn into metros. So the pace they are growing in, we have to see the future.
Oh, fantastic points, Saransh. So especially on the NCR side, the pollution in Delhi, combined with the Tokyo bullet train phenomenon, which I call it, as in Japan showed how they could sort of really cluster Tokyo. And if you're saying 40 minutes to Bhiwadi, I think even Ravindra spoke about Mysore Bangalore corridor and shrinking of the time. I think that's a big factor coming up. And the cost of living, obviously, 50% prices you mentioned in Bhiwadi as compared to Gurgaon. So there are fundamental factors. Let me add Ravindra's question, which he posed to all of us, to a theme which I had in mind, is that how much of that reverse migration during COVID is permanent in nature. I just wanted to pick your brains on that. I think Ravindra was pushing us a bit to think, hey, after all the cloud is settled down, is there going to be a permanent change in the way? And I think we found between Pradeep ji and Manish two sort of advocates of almost permanent change happening, looks like, on the ground for tier 2, 3 cities. So if I could pull you in, Manish and Pradeep, that is some of this change fundamental and permanent in nature, and will tier 2, 3 cities keep on improving? You covered some of this, but I would love to you to add more.
Yeah, if I want to further expand it, if a company sitting in US can outsource its work to person sitting in Gurgaon, why can't that person outsource that work a person sitting in Bareilly or Agra or Bhopal or Jabalpur? It is hardly matter a person sitting in Delhi or Mumbai or Bareilly or Alwar or Jabalpur. It hardly matters. So that kind of job will permanently shift to the tier 2 and tier 3 places. The Skill India movement of Government of India also helped in creating a skill set in that area, and that area is itself now become a magnet. It will attract business and resources from 200-kilometer area around it. So they will become a small magnet and attracting active economy around. But no doubt the high skill job will remain in metro. So both has their own added advantages, and none of them will have their own disadvantage. The skill, like in Silicon Valley, in California, San Jose is San Jose. New York is New York. But outsourcing job from New York to India doesn't make India New York. New York is New York, and so in the same way, growth will percolate down, and each city has its own character, and that keeps going.
If I can add to it,
love the nuance. Sorry, Manish, before we start, I love the nuance of the type of jobs. I mentioned this earlier also, Pradeep ji, in metros versus this. And there will be a growth in volumes. Possibly the quality of jobs might be different. And then you showed us a mirror by comparing us with New York. So obviously there's a difference in types of. And you had made a fantastic point, which I hope the audience picked up. The 200-kilometer catchment area and the 100-kilometer catchment area for tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and the metros obviously having a bigger catchment area. So there are different sort of factors for these cities, which may possibly keep on increasing the push towards tier 2 cities. Manish, sorry.
Yeah, so adding on to the same thought, there are a few more factors which I think are playing well in favor of tier 2 and tier 3 cities. What is happening is that because of COVID, the need to own the home, the need to have a larger home, that has gone up even amongst the people who are already staying there. It's not necessarily just the migration bit which is helping out. Let's say even the people who have shifted to cities earlier, they went there and stayed for some time. They fell in love again with the lifestyle that they can enjoy in their home cities. So they want to buy bigger houses there. Earlier, they were just investing their money first in the home buying in tier 1 city. Now they are very clear that first they want to invest their money in the tier 2 cities from where they belong before venturing into the tier 1 mines. So all of those things are also kind of helping out the movement to tier 2 and tier 3 development. And I kind of agree with Ravinder that there's a hybrid model which is here to stay. I don't think it's going to be permanently work from home, or it's going to be permanently shifting back to office. Some of the industries other than IT would have to come back, and they have already come back, as we have seen. So those businesses are again back on track. They're doing well. The IT, specifically IT business, or the businesses which are dependent on IT, have become a hybrid now. And they are now open to some of their employees working from office, some of their employees working from home, spending like 2-3 days in office in a week and 2-3 days from home. So all of that is happening. On the scale bit, that's a very interesting point you touched upon. I personally feel, and obviously everybody has a different experience, I personally feel that tier 1 cities still have extremely high level of scale level which can be achieved if we dedicate our energies onto these. For example, although we are present in some 15-17 cities, if we have to cross on a yearly basis, if we have to cross 250 to 300 crore sales from one single tier 2 city, it becomes very challenging. However, that's not a challenge in a tier 1 city or a tier 1 city with satellite towns around it. So yes, on the scale bit, I think that is still evolving. It has still not become equivalent or even close to what a tier 1 city can offer. But in itself, these tier 2 cities, now they are becoming more and more bigger. For example, Lucknow, we are doing some 250 or so per annum. But I know that the biggest developer of Lucknow is doing around 700 crore per annum just in Lucknow. So the need for organized housing has gone up. And as Saransh said that, a lot of these cities like Bhiwadi, Nimrana, they are at driving distance from NCR, and the social infrastructure is getting well developed over here. Schools like DPS, hospitals like Vedanta, they have now shifted to these tier 2 cities. Lucknow was a Vedanta of its own. There's the AIMS in Rishikesh. There's, I think, AIMS in Solan. So the medical facilities have come up, the social infrastructure has gone up. It's a matter of time, I think, that more and more employment generation activities would also come up. It is continuously happening because there are active airports now in these cities. Government has spent a lot of money on infrastructure in last 7, 8, 10 years. The roads are phenomenal. It's not that it's a tier 2 city, so roads are bad. So I think in next 10 years, next decade, would see the scale also coming up in these cities.
Points, Manish, and you're right. The hybrid piece which you picked up on, like if my data of 76% homes being sold in top 10 cities in 2019, even if 10% of that moves because of the hybrid nature, that's a big move. The 24 becomes 32 or 35, which is almost a 25% increase within tier 2, tier 3 cities. So the scale can really shift if some jobs remain hybrid. So of course, you are at a sort of a advocate of actually the actual scale increasing in tier 2, 3 cities, and you are seeing that happening. So fantastic insights here. So changing gears, moving to the real estate piece. This was more of consumer demographics, economy, and in government investments. Since I think Dhaval has a hard stop at some point of time, and we started a bit late. I will just like to pull him in for his overall comments on the real estate piece. First of all, personal questions to big developers. Like, will you guys think of doing tier 2, tier 3? And within that, the role of channel partners. I think, Dhaval, if you can touch upon these 2 points and any other concluding remark from your side, and we'll continue post that with the other guys.
I personally, as I said, I think, the need of the hour and what I feel is the tier 2 cities and satellite towns are probably going hand in conjunction with, the growth and development. And as as the other panelists have said, that there is a lot of demand because of the growing IT and work from home culture which is coming. That is where it is also helping the real estate development going across. Personally, we would definitely want to go to tier 2 if I have to ask for a development. But if there is a choice between a satellite town and a tier 2, my preference would be a satellite town, primarily because of the infrastructure and the surroundings and the metro city being near to each other, which helps the growth even more faster and better. I think plotted developments or row houses and villas would primarily be of a maybe a tier 2 city requirement because of the growing land rates with the farmers have actually cultivated, or if they've got the price because of the high land rates, which is helping the land prices go higher and developments of plots and other things happening in tier 2 cities. But overall, I also see tier 2 cities and cities like that, there is a lot of trust and there is a lot of knowing each other. So the role of a channel partner primarily is more of a, I would say, like a known person to them, which he or she is comfortable. It becomes even more easier for them to deal with, or they prefer dealing with it. That's what we've experienced. I mean, I've personally not experienced, but what we've interacted with other fellow developers and seen in our CREDI body and known. Because of a town being smaller, usually people would know a lot of people in and around, and they would prefer dealing with the known people. And the developers are more on a one-to-one basis with the client and the developer himself, versus a metro city developer where a lot of preference or a lot of role of a channel partner plays an important integration part, because he moves around in and around other developers and the other developments, and the channel partner would also know the client, and the comfort is much better. He plays a very crucial role between a developer and a client, if I have to put together. But I see a more role of a owner in a tier 2 city, owner and the buyer together straight, and a channel partner's primarily role between in a satellite town or probably a metro city, most important as compared to a tier 2 city.
Very clear views. So the easily satellite city first, and then only tier 2, 3 cities in your personal mind. And the CPs, I think, bang on. It's as you go towards tier 2, 3 cities, the relationships that the CPs, channel partners, may have with customers, which keep on increasing, and hence the importance of those guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Your remarks. And Annie, I just wanted to check with you how we are doing for time. So sorry, you're on mute, Annie.
Very sorry. So we are really short of time, and we will have to begin with the awards now.
Oh, great. So we were almost done. I was going to touch about one topic on digital marketing, and I think I would still like to take Saransh's 1 minute view on that. Does digital marketing work for tier 2 cities? Saransh, 1 minute wrap up for all of us, and then hand over to
I'll just take 1 minute of
the woman in Hari.
I think digital media is very, very critical and important for lead generation in every market, actually, not only in metro cities, in tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well, generating huge traffic on all kind of digital platforms with focused approach. At Rehan, we have sold over 16,000 units using these platforms. And yes, I would love to say one thing, that in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, we have to have a combination of online and offline. As Dhaval said right now, yes, there is a lot of interaction between the customer and the owner in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We have to explain the customer about the loan eligibility, how will the transaction be taken further. So the customer is a very, very novice at buying a real estate property. He does not have any idea about that, mostly. So moreover, in these cities, mostly first-time home buyers with very less exposure. So we have to, explain to them. So this combination takes care, but online is very, very important. 10% of the online leads here, I must say, are very, very, turn into conversions. There's a huge and strong market in these cities, which is less affected by external factors. So I think online activities are very, very important while working in tier 2, tier 3 cities, as screen time has also increased due to COVID-19. Smartphones are in every hand right now. So I think these tools are definitely providing push towards sales in every field, even in real estate, in every corner, even in metros and even in tier 1 and tier 2.
Excellent words. Thanks, Saransh. And Annie, I think we covered our 5 topics. So over to you now.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us in this fine evening. So let us begin with the awards.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. So let us proceed with the final set of awards for this evening. So let us start off with the first one, which is the Integrated Township of the Year East. And the winner is Shukhobrishti Spandan from Shapurji. Shukhobrishti, the largest mass housing project in the country, is developed by Bengal Shapurji Housing Development Private Limited. Congratulations. Proceeding on to the second award. The next category is Senior Citizen Housing Project of the Year National, and the winner is Ananya's Nana Nani. So Nana Nani Homes is the world-class retirement home builder and senior citizen home developer in Coimbatore. So proceeding on to the next one now. This is the themed project of the year, South, and the winner is Purva Promenade. Purva Promenade is an upcoming luxurious project by, how do you pronounce this? Give me a moment. Pura Vankara. Yes, Pura Vankara Projects Limited, located in Henner Road in North Bangalore. Congratulations. Proceeding on to the next one now, we have co-working project of the year North, and the winner is Smart Works. They say workspaces that work for you demonstrates how well its workspaces perform for all clients, regardless of size, business kind, or demographics. I completely agree with that. Proceeding on to the next one now, we have Luxury Villa Project of the Year National, and the winner is Flower Valley Central Park, a global township near the Aravallis, replete with lush greenery, exquisite flora, and water bodies, located ideally in Sector 3233, Sonha Road. It has connectivity to every prime location in the city. Congratulations. All right, proceeding on to the next category, we have Ultra High Luxury Residential Project of the Year East, and the winner is 88 East Tata Housing. They say when you move into 88 East, you move into the most prestigious locals right in the heart of Kolkata. Proceeding on to the next category, we have Ultra High Luxury Residential Project of the Year South. This goes to Lake Terraces Embassy Group. A home like none other is located in Hebal, North Bengaluru, North Bengal, the latest hotbed of growth and investment in India's Silicon Valley. Proceeding on to the next one. The next category is Commercial Property of the Year East, and the winner is Vinayak Landmark, Vinayak Group. Vinayak Landmark says they are the new age healthy business space, which is fantastic. We have Mr. Umesh Kyal, our Honorable Chairman from Vinayak Group. I would like to request him to please share a few words with us.
Madam, thanks again, and thanks to Team My also. Thanks, and I will try to get it again in future.
Absolutely, sir. You will, most certainly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, proceeding on to the next one. Now we have Smart Project of the Year Commercial North, and this goes to Atrium M3M Group once again. M3M Atrium 57 is one of its kind ultra modern commercial projects. It offers 3 side accesses, making it an even more favorable, profitable investment spot for people. Proceeding on to the next category now, we have Best Luxury Premium Housing Developer of the Year North, and the award goes to DLF Group. With 75 years of real estate investment, development, and management experience, DLF has an unparalleled scale of delivery and an unmatched track record of customer-centric service excellence in India. Congratulations. Moving on to the next one, we have Mid-Segment Developer of the Year East, and the winner is Sakar Constructions Private Limited. They say dreams are made true here. Apne sapne karo sakar with Sakar Constructions. May we please request Mr. Sudeep Kumar, our Honorable Founder and MD of Sakar, to please come and share a few words with us. Do we have him here with us, Mr. Sudeep Kumar? All right. With that, let us proceed on to the next one. We have Best Innovative Marquee Developer of the Year. And of course, the winner is Ambuja Neotia. Our goal is to create neighborhoods to live in, Ambuja Neotia said. They want to create healthy environment to work in, centers of excellence where our country's future will blossom, and malls that will serve as a complete family destination. We have Mr. Sudeep Kumar here with us. It's such an honor to have you here. Good evening.
Very, very good evening, and it is a great surprise and joy for us to receive this mid-segment Developer of the Year award for the East category. And it is a confirmation of the hard work for the last 15 years we have been putting, the faith the customers have with us, and the kind of the iconic and the trend-setting and the futuristic and the sustainable projects we have been doing. There are many projects which have been some kind of setting the trend, like first in Bihar and some things first time in India. We are developing a tier 3 city in Patna, a 1,500 apartment unit project. And that is a huge, and in this VUCA world of COVID, we are delivering against odd odds and delivering before the RERA time. We thank my family, my partners, my team members, and my customers, and above all the organizers and the jury for accepting and presenting this award to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, sir. And congratulations to you once again. Well, let us proceed on to the final award of this evening. We have Ultra High Luxury Developer of the Year of East. And this goes to Tata Housing. Tata Housing currently has across 33 projects with a total development potential of over 51 million square feet spread across major cities in India, Sri Lanka, and Maldives. Congratulations to all the winners, to each and everyone who has joined us here today. It was such a pleasure, such an honor having you all here. And once again, to all the 4 sets of awardees, to all our winners, wishing you all the love, luck, and success and positivity in the world. It was so good to have you all here. With this is your host for the evening, VJ Annie, signing off. And thank you once again so very much for joining us here.